Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome to CrowCast, episode 12.
It's Tuesday again. We're back on a Tuesday, boys. You know, the 6 days are going quick.
It's a short week for you this week, Sean.
It was a very short week, that was.
taking fucking days away.
It was quick. It made a difference this week because we did it Wednesday. It was less time, obviously. Do you know what I mean? So
it was really quick. Really quick.
So quick. How's that eye shiner?
It's good, I think, but he was giving me a bit of chip yesterday. But I'm not going back to the hospital. I've done now for 18 months, but I ain't going back there. I will pot up with it. Yeah. So yeah, anyone who got a new eye, they want to donate. I'll have it. I'm after the brown one. I am.
A brown eye. He's got one eye. What film's that off, boys?
It's not Waynesville, is it?
No.
No. He's got one eye.
That's a good game. He's got one eye. Goonies?
Yeah, man!
Yeah.
Of course it is.
And the plectrum goes to Ronnie.
Put it in the post, bud. Put it in the post.
Forget about that. So we start off with Lloyd. How's your week been, bud?
Yeah, really good, thanks, bud. Yeah, I've been really busy, like with work and stuff, and yeah, just really positive. You know, can't complain. No complaints, man. No complaints.
That's good. What about you, Dave? You look a bit tired here, son.
Oh, I'm knackered, man. I've had a really stressful day, but no, I haven't done a lot really. I've just been working. The most exciting thing that's happened to me is my dog just took my trousers into the garden. But to just wrestle them off here and drag them back in, covered in mud. That's about it, really. But no, not just working. It's been 6 days, so just been, nothing really. Boring.
What about you, Shane?
Oh, it's been me versus Kemper this week, but I managed to so I set all presets up. I think it was Friday last week. Finished them and then managed to delete them all. So we've been having words for the last 4 days. It's not a two-man, boys. Oh, I know I keep going on about, but it's not a two-man.
For those who don't know, Kemper is a guitarist.
It's a modeler. So effectively, it's supposed to take your tube amp and replicate it to make it sound like your tube amp, but being mic'd up. See, so this is the bit I had to get my head around. So when the microphones are on the cab, blah, blah, blah. I will still stand by my statement. No way. No way.
I'm pretty sure our guest later on in the show will have something to say about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mike will disagree with me wholeheartedly.
I'll be getting one. As soon as I can afford it, I'll be getting one. It's on my
sure, Dave, you can have mine.
All right, then cool. 50 quid.
Got anything else of his, Dave? Like, so you might as well.
I'll have some of your picks as well, Lloyd.
You
check them in.
You better get in on one of the competitions then, son.
I will.
What about you, Ron? How's your week been, bud?
Yeah, it was really good, but as Dave said, it was only a few days, but I seem to do a lot more. I don't know how. I feel a bit guilty for rabbling on, but I started watching Peaky Blinders.
It's really good, but
I'm enjoying it. So I tried to watch it maybe about 2 years ago, and I just didn't get into it. Now, whether lately I'm in a better frame of mind or I was just, I was ready to kind of sit down and embrace it. But yeah, I'm a season in. And it's really, really cool. I'm loving the era. And and I'm loving like the characters. You know, I'm starting to see the characters developing, because I think that's the thing when we start any series, you have to give it a few episodes just to see if it's for you, and you have to see if like a character kind of grows on you. And there's definitely some of that in there. There's, you know, you got your funny characters and your badasses, the bad guy. You know what I mean? You just kind of invest in everything.
Yeah,
So.
I think the only thing that's ever really put me off even wanting to watch it is the fact that everybody thought they'd dress up and they were actually fucking in it. Do you know what I mean? You'd always see people dressed up as them. It's like, well, you're clearly not in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, when we played Digbeth, didn't they? There was a little. I don't know if they did they film in here there or something?
Yeah, they were filming it. Yeah.
They did, yeah.
Oh, right.
I was just
okay,
about-
that
Oh,
was
right.
that one.
All right. So I apologise for calling everybody a bunch of bellends. It was actually the cast.
Yeah, that was Digbeth, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, obviously, Tom Hardy have just got to that bit as well. So
It's Tom Hardy in that, is he?
Yeah, man, really surprised me, and he's brilliant. I can't say anymore because I don't like to spoil stuff. But there's a lot of people saying, oh, there we go, filmed in the Black Country. Yeah, I didn't realize. Obviously, I knew it was popular, but they're on 5 seasons, so I didn't realize it's been out for so long. It just feels like yesterday when I tried the first season and I didn't like it. So, so got into that, Shane, and then played a bit of Xbox again. I told you I'm really into that Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Done a little bit of writing this week, which was cool, and watched a bit of wrestling as well. NXT in Your House. That was on Sunday night, which was cool.
Was it live or?
Yeah, and they got a crowd now as well. They had
Oh wow!
You know, have you heard of Code Orange?
Yeah, the metal band.
Yeah, they had Code Orange play.
All right.
They opened up the show, which was really, really cool and badass.
Yeah, they're doing good things. Isn't it?
Oh man, it looked amazing. And then they had the band in the crowd, like chanting.
All right.
And yeah, it really added an atmosphere. I tell you what, it's incredible, man. So obviously, you know, I watch it all the time, and you know, I watch all the pay-per-views. But it's, man, when you take something that you are so used to away, and then you start putting it back, how more interesting it is. Did anybody watch UFC on the weekend?
No.
Oh wow, that's a different watch as well. You can hear every. I mean, the last pay-per-view was even better, but the Nunes one, you can hear.
Yeah, I watched the last one.
Yeah, do you hear the shit talk and the and you can oh, the hits, man, they're brutal. Like, do you know what I mean? So
echoing around the thing, like.
Yeah, that's a completely different side to it again. So we're like in wrestling, you rely on an audience, and football, I think, is going to be interesting now because I haven't watched the Bundesliga yet.
I watched the highlights of one of the games, and it's odd. It is because, like you said, it's the sounds of the ball. You can hear the ball being kicked, and everything's very echoey. And
I just imagine it to be like when we used to play in a park on a Saturday. You know, where there's like only the parents turn up or something.
Yeah.
Go on.
Little Premier League's next week, isn't it? Premier League on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday.
I thought.
It's the week. It's just the week after, I think.
I tell you, like, this is going to be what they call behind closed doors, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be really interesting to see actually how, not having an audience there, how their teams actually perform. I wonder if Man U can live up to that. Like,
yeah, he's going straight in for the bands.
I'm just going to ignore that. I always said I think they should just squash it now. Momentum's gone, so let's start again next season. Everybody back to square one.
They can finish it after 2 games.
Of course you would say that because you're a mank and you're nowhere near us. So of course you're going to say that.
Look what I've started. Yes.
It's your fault, that is.
Hey, mate, I don't even like football. Crack on.
Yeah. But,
fight amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that, and I've been watching a lot of videos as well, like on YouTube, like yet again, like guitar videos and drum videos, guitar write-in videos, which seem to be kind of trending at the moment. Like people kind of write in a session. Just really cool stuff like that, man. So it's been, I can't say a week, obviously. It's been 6 days, or 5, whatever it's been. I'm losing count. But we're on 12 weeks, boys. That's mad. This is CrowCast 12.
I know.
That's bloody bonkers, isn't it? It's
Time,
bonkers.
time,
really
time to
is.
play. Time to play a gig. It's time to play a
Oh,
gig.
That'd be nice, too,
how,
wouldn't it?
how was your
No,
week,
man.
Shane?
Pretty much the same, bud. Pretty much the same. I've been writing lots in the studio, lots. Yeah, all the creative juices are flowing now, so it's great. Really happy with something I kind of wrote today and sent off with publishing and that. So we'll just see what happens there. It's a country kind of song,
oh, nice.
It's awesome.
but it's I love it, man. I just love writing different genres, different styles, and just it's great, isn't it? Just keep your brain going, like. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we've got some bangers at the moment for the band and that, which I can't wait to get in my teeth into tomorrow. We're gonna do that tomorrow, boys. Is that right?
If the boys win, but it's definitely me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fancy that, boys? Live on air?
I'd fucking love to if I had the
Practice.
the tools to the job. Fucking love to.
Tomorrow. But yeah, definitely. I wouldn't mind a songwriting session tomorrow. Start evolving it, like.
Get on it, boys.
Cool.
Get on it. Send
Yeah.
it over.
Cool.
I can jam in the old-fashioned fucking unimproved version then.
How's pigeon watching? Or seagull?
Yeah, not too bad if I'm honest. I've got a big tree, right? And I like a video of this huge pigeon. Do you remember Predator?
Yeah.
Remember the lyric, the the line where was it Mac? He's underneath and he's like, over here.
Yeah.
Back to trees. I was like doing videos. I was doing videos of myself thinking, I'm going to stick this on Instagram now, it'll be funny. There's this big giant pigeon in the tree. I'm like, over here, past the trees. And then I thought, you got to get a life, son. You're out there, video of a pigeon, get a grip, get a life, get back in the studio. So I did. I'm kind of staying away from that, but the weather haven't been great in the garden, and I'm kind of glad because it's made me jump in the studio more. But yeah, they've been fine. Seagulls have been pissing me off, but yeah. And I changed the tire today.
Why?
Yeah.
When's
Tire
the
blew
last?
out, so I had to change the tire. And when I went down to change the tire, I don't know, it just must have run in shit or something because there was shit on the tire. It was buzzing. I'm sick of shit. Whatever animal, I'm just sick of shit. There's
Mate,
shit everywhere.
I just had shit all over my hands. I was running an armoured cable up my garden to put an outside socket in, and I don't know, he's either sheep shit or some fucking inconsiderate twat's fucking cat shit. And it went all over my fucking top, all over my hands, my fucking shorts. I was like, oh, fuck this shit.
Well, Indy rolls in it every time we
Yeah.
go out, so I gotta deal with it a couple of times a day. Shit everywhere, so it's part of the power for the
Shit
course
happens,
now.
doesn't it?
Shit happens.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it back to my week. I had a weird one I put on Facebook the other day, boys, and somebody put a fucking amp on my doorstep.
I seen it. And I do see the
Bizarre.
amp. I seen your post.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely
nothing-
bizarre. Nothing
No
wrong
one's
with
come
it.
forward.
No, nothing wrong with it. Yeah,
What amp is it?
it's
so weird.
Roland. So I don't know whether, like,
Roland amp.
obviously they can see a fucking Roland kit in the background, and somebody knows where I live, which is very, very generous and very, very scary. But it's the case of it's just a fucking big Roland cab, just left on the doorstep. Bizarre. No knock, no phone call.
So weird.
I asked some of the neighbours who were out there because I got.
Was it brand new, or was it?
No. But it does work.
No.
It does work.
Would you give something brand new away, Dave?
Yeah.
No, it's just weird anyway, innit? So that might make it even more weird, wouldn't it?
Perhaps somebody thought, I can't be asked this anymore. He plays music over there. We'll give it to him.
I'm only mentioning it because old Sam Griffiths just asked now, like, because obviously I put it on the book. But I more put it on the book just because I didn't know if somebody had like tried to knock the door, hadn't had my phone number, thought, I know, I'll just give him an amplifier. I don't know. It just, we were all puzzled, yeah. And because of the lockdown, there's not a lot happens, does it? So to us, that was like a massive thing. Then we were sitting there all day going, who did it?
So was it like directly on your doorstep, or was it like in the street outside by your door? Was it like
Yes. Opened the door, went to go to the shop, and there was an amp there.
mad?
Asked a
You
neighbour.
gotta move, but you gotta move.
Yeah, asked a neighbour who'd been sitting out in the garden for like half hour. And I think his reply was, "Oh, but do you play bass?" And I was like, "What?" He said, "Do you play bass?" He said that through one tooth as well. And I
Sounded like Yorkshireman then.
I just looked at him, so I thought he was winding me up. I thought he put this like amp that's not working and was testing me. So it almost become like really, really awkward between me and him because I've never spoken to him before. And he's shouting, "Do I play bass?" So I said, "No, I don't, mate." And I asked him if it was his amp, and his reply then was, "No, but I'll buy it off you for a pack of cans or something." I'm sure that's what he said. A pack of cans. I'll buy it off you for a pack of
You
cans.
should have said, "No, mate, I don't drink piss."
Yeah.
A pack of cans.
Yeah. So it was at that point, as Morgan Freeman would say, I went and spoke to my wife and said, "I think it's time to move."
Oh, aye.
I don't know why you'd want to. You get free stuff on the doorstep. I think it's a perfect place to live.
Well, my theory is, like, obviously I live on a main road, don't I? Like, so my theory is that someone might have taken it out of their car, and literally forgot that they put it on my doorstep or something. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of. I know that sounds bizarre to anybody listening to
did
this.
the type of thing I do regularly.
Yeah, I know that would sound bizarre to anybody else, but that's the only thing that I could actually think of, like, you know, is of somebody taking out the boot, trying to clear the car, maybe get the kids out, you know. But yeah, really bizarre.
There we
Check
are
the
then.
back of it. Isn't
Yeah,
that
if you
smuggled
open-
in the back of it? Is it?
If you opened it up,
It's nothing to open, mate. It's what do you call them? It's not like a
combo,
cab-
is it?
combo. Thank you very much. It's a combo, Shane.
All
Is
right.
it a jazz chorus?
I don't know. I'll send you some pictures after.
Yeah, because if it's a jazz chorus, but it's worth a lot of money.
It is it?
You
Or is
used
it
to
a
use,
cube?
didn't
Roland
you use them in
cube.
the studio with didn't
Colin,
Andy have
yeah.
one of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rotary speaker, innit?
Well, Roland, yeah.
Yeah, Roland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
Roland jazz chorus.
Is it blue?
Yeah,
Oh, that's what this is. It's blue.
yeah. The you know the Roland logo's in blue.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
the
All right.
clean amps. Yeah,
Right, go get it, bud.
yeah. Go get it.
Right, I'm off. I will be over
Yeah.
now.
Right, that's you in about 10 minutes, John. I'll be over now.
Oh,
Let me just get my keys.
yeah.
Love, you have to fill it. Sam, you're gonna have to fill in for me, love.
Yeah. So it's bizarre. It's like Shane
That's
said
really
with the
mad.
pigeons. You know, just when bizarre things are happening. That's what, to me, that was really strange. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So.
Yeah.
That is strange, but it is.
Maybe someone will leave a drum kit on my doorstep and just to
If they got any sense, they
up a bit.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe we can
It's
swap them
you.
depending on the value.
Yeah, that's when we could swap it, aren't we?
Yeah. Depending on the value, mind. If it's an
Yeah,
Argyle
depend-
kit
yeah.
or something.
An Argos kit, yeah.
A Mickey Mouse kit, like.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah.
And
So everybody's had a good weekend.
Yeah, it's been alright, man.
Lovely. Lovely. Should we have a question, boys?
Oh, yes, please.
Let's.
Go on, then. Let's. Question time. This is from Jane Smith. I changed my surname back to my maiden name some years ago as my divorce took an age. Afterwards, I pondered on whether I should have changed my first name too. Joe Lysett, which is a comedian, temporarily changed his name to Hugo Boss. If you could change your name, first, middle, surname, or any, what would it be and why? Go on, Dave. You can start us off with this one.
Burt Reynolds.
Why?
Because I can just pretend I'm Burt Reynolds for the day, can't I? I don't know. That's such a weird question.
Brilliant.
That's such a weird question. Yeah, Burt Reynolds. Why not? Just for a laugh.
I'll go with Dirk Diggler. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 You're just thinking that through. That's why.
Hello? Hello?
Why would you be
Dirk
called Dirk
Diggler.
Because of the connotation, is it?
You know, David. You know.
I know.
David's on it.
Shiner?
Go on, Shane.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't. I tell
It's
you what, I'm
weird.
going to change mine to David Winchurch,
Oh God.
and I tell you why.
Good luck, Shine.
Just for a minute, Dave. I need to know what goes on inside your brain. So if I'm you for a minute, I might work it out.
You won't make it out the other side, but
No. I tell you what, Dave. Me and he'll swap.
yeah. Oh God.
See
yeah,
which one. See which one survives.
That's a social experiment there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could be on Channel 4, couldn't it?
Yeah. The guitar players swap. Yeah.
Lloyd?
Plywood.
Boom, boom.
I don't think it needs any explanation, really, does it?
It really doesn't, but it's genius.
Yeah, I can't top that as well, Lloyd. I can't top that.
Go on, give a go.
I don't know. The funniest name that comes to my head is like Dave's. Did you know? I grew up with Tony Hancock.
Yeah.
So just because it just made me giggle, that's all. And the fact it's every body part, isn't it, Dave? Did you know that, Dave?
Not every body part before. If you've only got toes, knees, hands, and cocks, then you're missing a lot of body parts.
That's true.
If you've
That
got
is
cocks,
true.
then there's something up.
But yeah, I can't beat plywood.
Hey, Ply!
And his brother knock on.
Plywood.
Tidy.
We've got some birthdays, Shane.
Tidy.
He's freezing a little bit again. He's freezing a bit.
Yeah.
Cold.
I think he's froze.
Yeah, have we got another question, Lloyd, while we're waiting for Shane?
Yeah, let's go for it. Right.
I'll take this opportunity then to say, just
All right, go on then, Dave. Dave?
Go on, Dave.
oh, he was doing birthdays. I forgot to mention to say happy birthday. It's my mum's birthday today, so happy birthday, mum.
Oh, happy birthday,
Probably
Dave.
she's watching. She hasn't got an internet connection. She hasn't got an internet connection.
Oh.
I don't know, so she's probably watching.
A bit like you usually then.
Yeah, yeah.
He runs in the family, Dave.
Anyway, as you were,
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
you're welcome.
Hang on. I want Shane to answer one of these as well, so I'm going to quickly sift through here. This is from Jack Skinner. I think we've had this kind of question a few times, but let's quickly answer this for him. Where is your absolute favourite place in the world, either that you have visited or would like to visit?
I'd like to go to Texas, I think.
Why?
I'd like to go out to Texas. There's loads of places I'd like to visit. I think we read this last week, didn't we? I'd like to go to Japan. So yeah, I really like exotic places or places packed with culture. I think I said last week, me and the wife are talking about going to Greece next. Just get some of the history there. Be a great family holiday. Plus, loads to do and loads to kind of learn and see, So,
sorry, but Emma Louise Hopkins has commented on the Garrow Valley.
No, that wouldn't. That's not a good.
Nothing wrong with the Garrow Valley.
All right.
Dave, what about you, bud? Where would you love to go, man?
Texas, amazing.
I've always had a bit of a I wouldn't mind visiting like Jerusalem just to have a little look around and
You're still up for having a word with Jesus, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back in the Jesus theme.
No, I just think it'd be a really interesting place to visit.
Oh, to see like the Ark
Nothing.
Covenant.
Hey, I don't know, just loads. It's just a really, really, it's a mad place, isn't it? You know,
I
just
don't
like to
know.
visit it. Just
Never been.
well, it's famously a mad place, isn't it?
It's, I think.
Yeah.
Remember, look, Charlie, our front of house. I remember him saying that they went to Bethlehem
Yeah,
on the Glen Hughes tour, and he said it was cool. Like,
yeah, it'd be really
Well,
interesting, I think.
well, what about you, Shine? Where's I know you're not a lover of holidays or anything, but
No, I think I'm off to the North Pole, but
yeah, no, come on now. If you had to pick somewhere which you really want to, like Canada, anywhere like that, is anything tick your box? Or anything?
it's cold. Just Russia. Let's go Russia.
You want to go there, but
Yeah, my missus
Yeah,
says that,
it's
Shine.
Russia.
Like she wants to go to Alaska, mate.
Yeah, it's
That would be
cold.
amazing.
Yeah, that's on her bucket list. That
Yeah.
is. I'm gonna take her to Alaska, but anywhere cold she loves. And then I'm the
Yeah.
opposite.
Alaska looks
Anywhere,
awesome.
everywhere, anywhere.
What's the other one?
exotic,
Greenland, isn't it?
island. Oh, Greenland.
I'm the same as you, Ron. It's
Greenland's
got to be fucking blistering hot, man.
Yeah, I do like it.
I'm
Yeah, go and see the
not a fan
Northern
of
Lights,
really,
definitely.
yeah,
What's that, Dave?
I'm not a fan of the blistering heat. Terrible, isn't it?
I know. You're bad enough for the back of the van.
We've got heaters on in the front, boys.
Remember that time you were in your pants in the back of the van?
Yeah.
Oh,
I get really hot. Like it's uncomfortable.
I think I was driving, and so like I looked at Shine. I said, "Watch this, man." So he turned the heaters up, and it Daisy goes, "Turn the fucking heaters up, fucking boiling, they're fucking boiling." And look,
It was
they're not on, but
Oh,
they're
it
not
was
on.
unbearable, man. It was unbearable. Yeah, I was just sitting there next to Shane in my pants, wasn't I?
You were right. Yeah. Oh, what is that? Where is Shane anyway?
I think he's just got connection problems. He's trying to get back on. They've been doing a lot of before everybody gets their tinfoil hats out and stuff. They've been doing a lot of rejigging of like 5G and stuff, haven't they? So
I know Virgin Media have dug up pretty much the entire Kevin Glass man during this lockdown period. So I don't know if I think they were going up to Lalliston maybe as well. So
well, I was shitting them because we've had messages apologising for dips in our internet. And like I mentioned it last week. Do you remember me saying about the kids coming down? There's no internet. Yeah, that's literally been the story of my life at the moment. Like, so
do that again. There's no way to it.
with no internet.
Don't tell me what that reminded me of, but
Here he comes.
He's
Stuff
ready
on
to be
the
the
red as well.
fridge.
All right, my signal's crap, boys. I'm sorry, I can't. No
so
control.
what do you mean about the spa?
If you're in or out, mate, this I was just explaining to everybody now. I've had messages off Sky. I don't know who you're with. And I said about like the tinfoil hats because there's a lot of changeovers to 5G. There's a lot of internet providers who are going down. They're dipping because of staff shortages. So they're unable to kind of rectify the problems as quick. So I've been worried that obviously, mine goes down and I couldn't get the broadcast up and running and stuff, or trying to get you guys to get it going, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll get it, but if you're in and out, we'll just all do the okey cokey, won't we? Like,
Yeah, all right. In out.
Diggler.
I reckon the pigeons are chewing your internet, but
And it's great because every time you go and you come back in, everybody goes, "Hey, Shane." There we go. There's loads. Hey, Shane. I love it.
Welcome back, Shane.
Should we do a competition while you're here, Shane? Just in case anything happens. Oh, no, sorry. Birthdays and shout outs.
Good call. Let's do some birthdays. So we got a couple this week. We'll start off with Pete Evans. It was his birthday yesterday. Dagmar got in touch and said that he was dreading his birthday. Why, Pete? Why are you dreading your birthday? It's the day you were
I
born, brother.
sympathise. I sympathise.
You ain't that, you Shane.
Well, as everyone knows, it was in Birmingham that time.
Yeah.
I think he don't like his birthday. He hates going to TGI Fridays on his birthday.
It's the birthday, but
Well, anyway, happy birthday, Pete. His birthday was yesterday. We've also got Julie Taylor. Happy birthday from all your gig family. We've got our admin, Bevis Robbins. Happy birthday, Bevis. Everybody, I don't know if you saw the post that went up on the Crow page today saying happy birthday. I think it was B put it up, the Shane impersonator, because that video, that photo of us,
Oh,
the
yeah.
admin's in our photos, isn't it? But I've had so many happy birthday Shanes. Honest to God, I counted them. I got 96 birthday messages.
It's not
I think it was my
bad.
birthday
Is it?
today.
If you all
Was
check
it
the 10 in the
96?
card field.
Because they misread it. Sorry about Bevis. It's your fault, Bevis. Happy birthday, brother. We got Catherine and Joins got in touch to ask if we can give
Happy
a
birthday,
big
babies.
happy birthday shout out to his son Luke. It's his 14th birthday today. Happy birthday, Luke. Happy birthday,
happy
bud.
birthday, mate.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy.
We had Ronnie's son Brody. It was his birthday yesterday. He's 16. How does that feel, Ron?
Happy birthday, bro.
It's mad, absolutely mad. But we did him like
insane.
Hawaiian themed. You and Shelley give ideas as well. So, but
Just
we're
put a grass
skating
skirt on,
holiday.
Ron.
So, no, just a really bad Joe Exotic shirt, mate.
Nice.
Sweet.
But yeah, not so much a little man now. It's nearly bigger than me.
I know.
Yeah, he's
What
a
do
good
you
guy.
mean,
He's a good guy,
He's
bro.
taller now.
What do you say, Shane?
He is taller now, isn't he?
No. He's
Isn't
about
he? I think he is, isn't he?
he's about a centimetre off, but I'm holding on to that. So
It won't be long. It won't be long now, but
he'll watch it later and he knows he's not bigger than me by about a centimetre. So
Okay.
yeah.
Don't let him have a spiky haircut because then he's.
I was expecting him to just burst through the door and say, "Stand up."
He would as well. He would as well.
Go on, bro.
like,
Do it, bro. Do it.
That'd be class.
No, he's gone mountain running.
Oh,
that's
Oh,
cool.
the
now.
way. That's the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, him and his buddy, because they can you can kind of go out with one mate, can't you? So
Yeah.
they went mountain running. He'll come back in the next 20 minutes, half hour, I think. So
Tidy.
tidy.
Yeah, that's
And then we
really.
got one big shout out to the Godfather of Wales, Tom Jones.
Aye.
Happy birthday, Tom. Thomas.
That was my impression.
Happy birthdays. Oh, we also, sorry, I forgot one. Ronnie, you have to help me out, yeah? There's one I forgot. That you told me to say.
Oh, well done. Well, it was last week, wasn't it? Well done, Shane. Miranda, yeah?
That's
Miranda last week.
That's right.
It was Miranda's birthday last week, but the reason we're mentioning her again, because she sent me an amazing picture of this cake that she made.
Ah.
I love that.
She made it for herself. That's amazing.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, she's been making awesome cakes. I'll send you some pictures, Shane. You like it, mate.
Yeah, that cake looked good.
So yeah, I had to mention her again just because of the cake. Well done. Great cake.
A lot of people saying Shane's birthday is the 26th. Yes, my birthday's on Boxing Day, not today. Please stop wishing me happy birthday. It's very, very nice of you, but it's not my birthday.
I bet, like Dave said, it off too, but you could be the king.
Just
But
saying, if they all check the 10 in a card, but
That's not
Well, I
bad,
wouldn't
is
say
it?
nothing then, Lloyd.
exactly.
9 grand, not that, eh?
Oh, do you know what? Alex Marsh has just asked, is it lyric time yet? Well, Alex.
Just for you, Alex.
There we
Wait for the
go.
song.
Tell me the lyric. Give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. Tell me the lyric. Give me the lyric. What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. What's the next line? What's the next line? What's the next line?
I like how everyone's eyes were on me during that. Then is he going to say something?
How do you know that?
Because I can see her eyes looking down.
Just, I look at the screen. I'm not necessarily looking at you. Anyway, back to the lyric game.
So this week we got 2 lyric games, right? And they're the easiest we've done so far, right? So you will be kicking yourselves if you don't get this, because the competition, the prize is Ronnie Oxford. This wonderful piece. Look at that. It's a necklace.
Look at that.
You don't want to miss out on this.
Look at that. Not the cat, it's the necklace. You're not going to win a cat. You're going to win the necklace.
You can keep the bloody cat, mate.
So, with a chance to win that, that's bloody lovely. That is. Well done, Tan. The lyric is choose heart over head. What's the lyric that follows that? Choose heart over head. Go.
Oof. Oof. I love
Are you
that.
watching beer now, David?
We should have the countdown clock now, shouldn't we? Din, 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 din,
Dun, 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 boom.
I am watching. I am keeping an eye on that.
Well, I thought this was this would be easy.
Everyone's going, I want the cat. I want the cat. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, they're looking at the competition. Maybe it's a good chance for me to segue and say about what's happening this weekend, Shane.
Yes.
The amazing guys at Download, as we announced last week. We were supposed to be playing the main stage of Download on Saturday, the 13th of June, this weekend. But they're absolutely incredible, and they're going to get us to be part of their virtual Download TV weekend, headlined by Iron Maiden, which is phenomenal. Check out the full lineup. I'll let me put up a little bit of a thing so you can read the whole thing. Download TV. The schedule is now available for full lineups at downloadfestival.co.uk. And it starts from 7 p.m. on Saturday, headlined by Iron Maiden. So yes.
Yes.
That would have been a good day out, boys, wouldn't it?
Oh,
I would have been alright. Like
No, a big. That's what I call a big day out.
tamping.
Yeah,
You know what?
I've decided I'm not even getting up out of bed fucking Saturday.
Yes.
It's just,
Yeah.
like
Might
gonna
do
be, I'm just going to be in a bad mood all day. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think,
How do you think I feel, mate? I'm driving around delivering donuts.
me and
Yeah.
Mr. Greenall will be having a few shandies on Saturday. Reminiscing. We can't keep bringing it up every 5 minutes, but we'll just have to look at each other every 5 minutes and just nod
yeah.
and finish your drink.
Oh man, it gets me all weird. It does, honestly. Like it's hard. It's really hard. But anyway, it is what it is. Anyway, I think we've got an answer.
That's what I keep telling myself. But
I think we got an answer now for the lyric game. I do believe. So the lyric is choose heart over head. Somehow we've lost our way. And I believe, yes, through the adjudicator and the boys, the winner is Sam Bradbury.
Listen, Sam.
You have won a cat. No, a necklace. You won a necklace.
or the cat,
There you
if
go,
you.
Sam.
Send us your address and we'll pass it on to the wonderful Tanith Chown. Look at that. Beautiful.
I like that. I really like that.
Tan. Thank you so much, Tan.
Have you got a question for
thank
us,
you.
Lloyd?
I do indeed. Right. This is from Steve Wright in the afternoon.
Morning. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Steve Wright in the afternoon. Great Britain. Right, sorry.
Sorry, Lloyd. Sorry. That was the lyrics were off the song Blink of an Eye. Sorry, people were asking. Carry on.
Right then, back to Radio 2. That was Sally Traffic then, everyone. Right. Steve Wright.
Yeah.
I recently did the 10 albums that influenced the music I listened to. What are the 10 albums that most influenced the band and why? 2 albums for each member. Do you want to start us off, David Winchurch?
I'm probably going to say the same one that a few of us are probably going to say. I think start with is Nevermind.
There's 4 of us.
Yeah, because the reason being that was probably the first alternative music I did. You know, I did rock music and pop music and stuff, but alternative, I think that was, and it just blew my mind. The other one would probably be Pennywise Full Circle, because that sent me on another road. Then when I heard that, it kind of sent me down that kind of road for years. So I haven't listened to it for years, but it's still influential wise. That's it for me, I think.
Very cool.
Shane?
Yeah, I'm Nevermind has to be there. It's the only thing I kind of listened to as a kid. I remember being in school and everybody was listening to when I was school, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their Walkmans on and stuff. And it would probably be 10 Pearl Jam, maybe.
Knew you were going
Ducky.
to say
Yeah.
Or
Go-
Ducky Green Day.
Go Ducky and Pearl Jam. Keep Nevermind out there. We'll try and add 2.
Go on then.
Try
Here
and
we
add
go.
2. That's great, that is, but because that covers, I was going to say Ducky, but you've said it there now, but that's almost, we try and add what we all love and not miss out, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I would have said Pure by 3 Colors Red, which I know you would say the same again. And Color and the Shape, Foo Fighters. So that's me, you, and Dave. I think we'd all agree those 6 helps the CROWS. Shane?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Offspring, Smash.
Oh, see.
Nice, definitely.
Ozzy Osbourne, Osmosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't disagree with any of them.
That's it. And of course, you know, all the other ones you boys said.
Yeah.
I think mine's definitely got to be Aerosmith Pump. Such a dynamic record. It's probably one of the first records I actually started to like connect with, like growing up. You know, like songs like Fine and Young Lust and stuff. And then the second album is probably, it has to be Appetite for Destruction. It kind of sent me on a bit of a fucking loony fucking trip. Do you know what I mean? A bit of a reckless sort of couple of years, if you like. It's gritty. It's just fucking rock and roll.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's a really, really good album.
You know what I mean?
And the
Awesome.
thing is, annoyingly, we've probably left out still far more their influences.
Yeah.
As
But
musicians and friends, like, you know.
Yeah. Rancid, I know Come the Wolves just popped into
Oh.
my head.
Yeah, man, that's an amazing album.
It's like,
There's loads, man. Well, there's Power Age, AC/DC as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
Rage
that
Against the
album
Machine.
just makes me just want to drink beer. Like, do you know what I mean?
Soundgarden, we haven't even touched on that.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
keep going. And then we haven't touched on Queen. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's too many. It's too many. Oh, bloody hell.
Great question.
It is a great question, that is. That's a great question. Should we pass it forward?
Oh, tidy.
Aye. Aye.
2 seconds.
Can I pour myself a drink whilst this is happening?
Of course you can.
It's never stopped doing the past, Dave.
I gotta go to the kitchen.
Have you really?
Ready when you are.
Oof, there it is.
Okay, so sorry, did I freeze then? I think I
Yeah.
froze then, didn't I? So the winner of this gets a wonderful photo from someone got in touch with us, Alan Crickshank. Hope I said that right, buddy. He took some photos at Monster Fest, and he's got this montage of us all. Look, it's a 12 by 10, and including is a free hanging kit and what have you. So whoever wins this gets that. You lucky, lucky people.
Look at the
So-
state of my guitar.
What's wrong with it?
With the photo back up. Look at the fucking marks on it.
Fucking battle scars, dude. Battle scars. Sweat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking hell, Pete, you were cleaning them at that time.
Okay, here we go. Press the button. Woohoo.
I'm back.
Spin the wheel, spin the wheel.
Who's it gonna be?
spin the
Who's it
wheel,
gonna be?
Spin the wheel, spin the wheel, spin the wheel.
Last click.
Martin Neeson. Congratulations, dude.
Liam's brother.
Get in touch. Get in touch. And we shall send that photo. Well, Alan to send that photo to you. Thank you so much, Alan. That's really, really kind of you, buddy.
Yeah, fair play.
done.
It's cool.
Well
Yeah,
done.
Martin
Well
Neeson.
done.
Write
Cheers,
that
Alan.
down.
Just in time.
Oh, God.
Just in time.
For that.
Dave, did you know it's a long way to the kitchen?
Right, you're going to be really surprised.
I love our photo, Dave.
Yeah, that's from that thing we had to do, the download thing, isn't it?
Go on in.
Who knows? Not me. I fucking made it up. Yeah.
Bit of Bowie Nirvana there, Dave. Well done.
Yeah, Nirvana Unplugged. Oh,
There we are.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, there we are then.
He's just waiting patiently for me to solo him. He won't stand. I solo him. Ta-ra, Dave.
off you fuck.
There we go.
Come on in, big boy.
Come on, Dave. Come on.
This will blow your mind, right? So, if you were to remove all the empty space from the atoms that make up every human on Earth, the entire world's population could fit into something the size of an apple.
Well, we're going to need Einstein to fucking clarify our one, boys. I'll be honest.
Let me
Well
make
done,
a phone
Dave.
call.
Albert on the phone, but
Get Albert on.
Before we move on, Dave, would you like to say that one more time?
If you removed all the empty space from all the atoms that made up mankind, you could fit the human population into something the size of an apple. And that's just if you remove the empty space from the atoms. Not interesting? No? Is it just me who finds these things interesting?
Fuck, where do you get this shit from, man?
The internet, isn't it?
It is.
Wait,
Just come from
I think-
Dave's house.
I think I'd have to dumb down.
I
my-
actually want to learn something clever, something which
Well,
I
it
don't know, I
is.
actually want to learn something from you, not something which I don't really need to know. Like,
Oh, you right. So an atom, right, is basically a proton and a neutron. I like this. It's like ping pong balls in the Albert Hall, and the rest is empty space. So if you took that empty space away, then the human race would shrink down to something the size of an apple. I think that's fucking incredible. So we're all basically airheads, is what I'm trying to say.
good film, man.
So long.
I love it. I just keeping you going there. I love it.
Well,
There's not enough wine.
It's from the internet, so it must be true. People are like mind blown. So you've had a lot of there we are, mind blowing.
There we are. See, everyone's
you got him, Dave. You got him.
At least humour me, guys. If it's not.
Oh, this is my favourite. Is that a Granny Smith or a cooker?
That's a very good
It's a New Zealand gala.
a jazz.
That's my question back. That is it a Granny Smith or a cooker?
I prefer Granny Smith, so let's say Granny Smith.
I love
Well done,
it.
That was
I
brilliant.
love it.
No, that was shit.
Yes. What have we got up next, Lloyd?
It is a lyric game.
It is the lyric game. For Lloyd, would you like to show them what they're going to win?
I thought the lyric game was for something
Yeah.
else. I thought it was a crow wheel for the.
Well,
Yeah, but I think you're right, Lloyd.
I think you're right, but I think Ronnie was trying to cover it over. And
That's
do a
exactly
switch,
right.
But never mind. Live TV, we were wrong.
Good album, but good album, never mind. Good album.
I agree, but
This lyric game is so important because you're going to win a pair of Lloyd's first ever signature plectrums.
Yeah, well, I had some before, but they were shit. They didn't even have my signature. It was just a crap print on it, which at the time I thought was great. But now I held out for what I really wanted. So, can everybody see that?
Cool. Yeah.
This is actually quite hard to do. See,
Yeah.
it says my name. Yeah.
Next time, you
See?
give them away. Send me the plex, and I'll put them up on the screen.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so lyric game, you get a pair of Lloyd plectrums.
Not one, but two.
That's right.
What's
in this line? What's in this line? Just the quick version. Just the quick version. So here's the lyric.
I thought you froze, but
Here's the lyric. Cause I'm more whiskey. How easy's that? Come on. If you're a Crow fan, you know this. Cause I'm more whiskey. What's the line after that? Go. For a chance to win Lloyd's pair of picks.
Oof.
oh, they should have had it by now, man.
It's a great prize. It's a great prize.
Yes.
Oh, there we
While
are.
they are doing that, last week we got asked the question, Shane, of like what game shows would you be on, and everybody, I can't remember what did you answer? What was yours, Shane?
I think it was like something physical, like Funhouse, or it'd been like Gladiators, or
That's right, Gladiators, and Shiner said Strike It Lucky, and
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
it. I can remember.
I said like The Price Is Right.
Yeah.
Shiner found the video because a few people have messaged me asking me about the video. So while the boys are looking for the answer, here's me winning in a service station. So this is what I would be like on The Price Is Right.
Yes, he's got him.
Get in there.
He's got him.
Get in there.
He's got him. Yeah! Top banana said he's only got a one banana. Yay! Top banana.
Can you imagine if I was on a game show? Good God. Good God.
God,
That was at a service station at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
What
I never forget that.
What tour was that?
I was
Stone Broken.
on the way to Liverpool. That was on the Stone Broken tour. I remember I was actually in the toilet, and I think I said this last week. I was in the toilet, and I was in the cable car, and you know how busy service stations get, and it was rammed, and so all I could do was Top Banana. I thought, oh, what the hell are they doing now? Yeah. So
I'm just checking this, boys, because we got 3 different names here.
I did send a photo to our group if you need to check that. That's
Awesome.
like everything I've seen, you know.
Oh, the suspense.
I know it's good, isn't it?
I love it. Jackie Griffiths just said Stone Broken tour when we first saw you in Leeds.
Oh, yeah. What was the sound guy's name in Leeds again?
Oh, it's fucking Trev, man.
Trev.
The one that fucking completely disabled my hearing for like the next 4 days.
Yeah, he went home, didn't he?
Some great shows on that tour. Really good, good memories.
He was like Will Ferrell in semi-pro running out of the stadium. if anybody's seen that, because he has to give away a lifetime supply of free hot dogs. And he didn't have the money to do so. And he was like, Trevor was just running, went home to his car, like.
Yeah, it was a cracking
It
venue.
was fucking. It was Shane's. It was Shane's line to him. Oh, Trev, what's up with this then, bud? It's like,
Right, Trev? And everyone's like, oh, I was so fun. Trev. I was like, no, that's his name.
yeah, that was generally his name. Yeah.
Yeah, Oxford O2 was a great show as well, Richard. You're right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of great memories on that tour.
They're
like
all
I
good
said.
ones, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a less than 20 band who's trying to accommodate a small stage, because we always go on about Ireland, how intimate Ireland was. In the Voodoo, in it? Voodoo Lounge, is it?
Yeah, Belfast, man, yeah.
Belfast. But yeah, the fact that we managed to get pretty much all of Stonebroken's backline and our backline on that little stage, it was, and everybody left home and had a great evening, didn't they?
Yeah,
That was brilliant.
Indeed.
one to remember that was.
Yes.
It was good.
Okay. I think we got a winner.
Yes.
So the lyric was, because I'm more whiskey while you sip on your wine. It's off Someone Someday. And I believe the winner is Hayley Thinnison. Congratulations, Hayley. Send us your address, lovely.
And you
you
will
win.
receive these.
2 plectrums. Bloody tidy.
And then I can nick them off.
Don't make you play any better, though.
What gauge are they, Lloyd?
0.73, man. Remember the yellow ones I used to use?
Yeah.
The Dunlop Tortex. So, you know, they're the best in the game, like the matte finish. Dunlop Tortex, all the way from America. Custom
Yeah.
print.
They'll do nicely.
So, yeah.
Can't wait to get my hands on them.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got a
I bet you
question?
can't. Yeah. hang on. I'm trying to do it all for you.
Sorry,
Oh,
Lloyd,
Basil
well.
Faulty boy.
Oh, Basil Fault. He be in your bag, he will. Rummaging round your bag.
That's like my mum. Lloyd!
He be around that bag.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I like this. This one's from Pam Davey. If you had to teach a class for the day that wasn't music related, what would it be and why?
Fucking hell.
That's a great question again.
I thought it was a really good one.
Can you say it again? Sorry, I was just
Yeah, no worries.
thinking to our adjudicator. Sorry.
No worries, Bat. From Pam Davey. If you had to teach a class for the day that wasn't music related, what would it be and why? Who wants to start?
Go on,
I
Dave.
just do Did You Knows, wouldn't I, for the hour?
We have bloody long hour, Dave.
No, so in all seriousness, though, I
Those
don't
poor
know,
kids.
I would like to teach. I am interested in science or art or something, so I'd probably do either of them. I think
Yeah.
science. Fuck it, physics.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can't even spell it.
FISIKS.
No, that's not how you spell it. That's how I say it.
What about you, Shane? What would you teach?
I gotta go with philosophy.
That's what I was going to say.
Do you want our back? I'll go for
No,
you have that one then.
We'll both
right.
do it.
Yeah, because the good thing with philosophy, there's actually no right or wrong. It's only a point of view.
That's very true.
Exactly that. Exactly.
Yes, we done well there, but
I thought you would have picked psychology, Shane.
yeah, to be honest, but now I've heard you say it, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I could have gone with that one. Yeah. But it didn't pop in the brain, but
Oh, you Lloyd Wood, is it?
Yeah, it
Carpentry?
would be woodwork, man. And reasoning behind I wouldn't want to teach anybody someone I don't know fuck all else about. Do you know what I mean? No, honest. I mean,
Like I do
what's the
every
point?
week.
I'm the kind of guy which, if I don't know something, I'd rather hold my hand up and say, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that, rather than waste someone's time.
Yeah.
Or bullshit my way through it. There's enough of them around, isn't there?
What about weekly facts? They're nonsense.
Well, that's your department, mate. That's
Yeah.
that's not part of my job description.
Yeah, you've got that covered, Dave.
What about you, Ron?
I don't know, some sort of like Ronnie's rage room or something, trying to teach people the art of not losing your shit and just beating up stuff all day, like smashing TVs and walls and lampshades, and then coming out feeling all like released, like, so helping people
Therapy
release
session.
themselves, I suppose.
That's what she said.
Not like releasing their energy, you know what I'm saying, you know? Yeah, so some sort of like, yeah, just beating, you know.
Dude, there are places in America called fucking chaos rooms, which you can do
Chaos
that.
rooms. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ronnie's
yeah.
rage room. Just
There are in America.
try not to
Let it
lose
all
your
out.
shit. Talk to people, understand their problems, give them a baseball bat and let them hit the fucking
Smash
shit.
a telly up.
Yeah, smash your telly up, and then give them a tap on the back and say, "You are relieved," and off they go.
Little certificate.
Aye.
Tanith Chown got it, kind of like Ronnie's anger management, like, do you know what I mean? So, oh Ronnie,
Oh, Ronnie.
oh Ronnie. So that's fab, like. Well,
Tidy.
is that
Can you
everybody?
imagine Crow School with us? That'd be incredible if we were teachers. God damn.
I was throwing
I
fucking
know.
hammers at people. I went.
Originally, I was when I was younger. When I finished university, I was going to go into teaching. Can you imagine that?
Okay, now.
Well, my dad told me not to. My dad was a teacher for years, and he was like secondary comments. He was like, "Don't do it, son. Fucking don't do it. Trust me. Fucking don't." So I didn't. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, good. Is it that time, Shiner?
It is, but we've passed the hour.
It is that time.
Have we really? Bloody hell, we have
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, one-liner, Shiner.
I fucking hate that.
Lloyd's gone.
Heads will roll.
Then we're allowed back out in the shine.
Oh yeah,
Someone's going to pay.
yeah. You waited about to fucking lockdown, people. I tell you.
That really brought back the first time I see that photo then.
Shiner, I promise you, sweetheart, I'll do you a new one next week, all right?
Thank you, bud.
Come up with a new one. Dave's got the new one, so you'll have a new one.
Yeah.
We'll have a bit of a remodeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's my bit today to get off here. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to stick to my philosophy thing. Of people need to learn to walk before they can run. And on that
Yeah,
note,
man.
That's very, very true.
yes. See, fucking words of wisdom today.
I know. Yeah.
Well, it's got dark see, isn't it? That's what it fucking is.
Make sure you walk now, Shane, not fucking run.
Oh, but I tell you, literally, but the last time I run is the last time we played football.
Really?
Bloody hell.
Oh no, me and you went running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I lied. I'm lying. I went running with Lloyd.
Take it back, Shine.
I'm taking the power back, Dave. Right, anyway, boys. I'm off downstairs to watch U4 and Mike Exeter.
Cheers, Shine.
Heidi.
Ta-ra, boys.
Tell us,
Ta-ra,
Shiner.
bud.
Easy, buddy.
Ah, man.
That photo, I'm sorry, Shine, if you're watching that. No, he's probably not watching. He's going on the stairs now, so I can say it. That's fucking hilarious.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Isn't it?
First time I see that, honest.
What are you drinking there, Shane? Shano, what are you drinking there, buddy? Nice glass of
I'm
red. Is it?
drinking a wine, but I'm on the old dark.
Oh, nice. Cab Sav, is it?
No, it's
Has
a
anybody
Merlot.
tried that?
Or is it the Merlot, is it? Or the
Merlot.
Malbec?
Strawberry Fanta.
Oh. I'm
See
on
it?
the old
It's good.
pink gin because they've got nothing else in the house. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Shall we bring in a guest, guys?
Have we got one?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a guest. We love this guy. We love this guy.
We do.
Just making sure he's ready for us. Let's bring in Mr. Mike Exeter.
Hello.
There he is.
Oh, yeah?
That would have been bad. I had my mic muted.
How you doing, Mike?
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too
Really
bad.
good.
That looks pretty professional behind you there.
It's beautiful. It's a very, very good friend of mine since March. He's a guitarist in this very, very well-established band called Annihilator. He's originally from Canada.
All right.
Guy
wow.
called Jeff Waters, and he's put this beautiful new studio together. And
Wow.
it's ace.
Yeah,
I'm
looks like
having
a
fun.
enterprise.
Yeah,
You're looking really well, Mike. Have you lost loads of weight? You're looking
I
really,
have. Thank you. Yeah,
looking really good.
feeling
man.
good. I've got to take the bins off. They're reflecting. There we go.
Wow, you're looking awesome.
There he is. There he is, man.
There you are, Dave. There you are, Ron.
There we are. Get the compliments out there.
Yes. For anybody who doesn't know, we've known Mike now for a few years. We met you recording with a very good friend of yours called Barry Bayliss.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was good fun. That was really
Yeah.
good fun.
Gospel Oaks, wasn't it? That was the
That's
stage.
right. Yeah. Gospel Oak Studios. Yeah.
And then obviously we went on.
Go on.
Ron?
Yeah. Then we obviously went on to record the EP with you.
Yep.
With I've had a mind blank now.
Say it.
I was trying to right. The problem is, Mike, when we recorded that EP with you, I had a couple of drinks on that one night, you know, right?
Good.
The legendary night when I felt like I hadn't spoken to anybody for so long that I went up that little pub for a couple of drinks, and I've never called it anywhere else besides Bronington.
So funny. I got video evidence and everything. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And literally, that just came into my head as I was speaking to it, and I was going to say where we recorded it, and I'm
It
like,
was, yeah, it was Woodworm
Bronington?
Studios.
No, that's not right. That's
Woodworm, there we go.
Woodworm, yeah.
Woodworm, mate.
Yeah.
But how did it start for you? How did it all start for you, Mike? Did you start off by being in a band, or did you just go straight into producing? Or?
No, because I was a lowly keyboard player, so there was never a place for any of us people in bands unless we owned Hammond organs or Rhodes, Fender Rhodes.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do the band thing. I ended up just being a bit of a synth magnet, and by the time I left school, I was trying to just develop something that would at least get me on in life. So I became an electronics tech and did computer programming on machine tools and robots. And eventually decided that that although that probably had a future, it certainly wasn't as fun as music. So I went and learned how to do engineering and ended up in Florida doing that. So that was cool.
It's Lloyd's favorite place, isn't it, Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long were you in Florida for, Mike?
I did a degree there. I did a 1 year degree. They compressed the degree from 2 years into one at a place called Full Sail, which is still going. And then I went from there up to Rochester, New York, and did a year up there as a staff engineer at this place that no longer exists. And then my visa ran out, and I didn't want to fall foul of the US government, so I came back to England. And very, very soon after I got back, UB40's studio needed an engineer, and I just fell into place for me, as have most things in my life, thankfully.
Wasn't it the story you told us about the UB40 work?
Uh-oh.
Was this something about the lights or the lamps? There wasn't enough lamps, or?
Oh no! And when it was all shutting down, we went into a friend of mine, Austin. He and I went in to grab all our stuff from the downstairs studio, and there was only one light left, and they were going through really bad financial problems. The whole thing was falling apart. And as we walked out of the studio with all our gear, the final light went out, and that was kind of the end of the studio. It was almost like that it had died. But they're still going strong in two camps, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame what happened to them, but you know, that's just the music business, unfortunately.
They were brothers, right?
Yeah, there were 4 brothers. 2 of them
Right.
were in the band. They split, and one of the other brothers now sings in the band, and the old lead singer now has his own version, and
That's right.
it's all pretty nasty. Sadly.
Yeah. So what
That's a happy
happened
note,
after
isn't
that?
it?
Yeah, no. Imagine that happening to us. What happened after that then, Mike? What studio did you work in after?
Well, that was I was there for about 5 or 6 years, and it was during that time I got to meet the venerable Cradle of Filth, and I did a couple of albums with them. During the first album, I met Iommi from Sabbath. So as soon as I finished at Depp, which was the name of the studio, I went freelance, and I've stayed freelance ever since.
Wow.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. Everything just, everything fell into place, and it was about taking the opportunities that were given to me. So, if, like meeting Tony was brilliant. I did his first set of demos with Glenn Hughes, on something that would turn into an album that came out a few years later, but it became the Depp Sessions '96. That started a 24-year relationship that's still going. I know, like I say, I was really lucky because when the studio shut down, the road crew for UB40 were just trashing everything. So I stole all the master tapes for projects that I thought were important, and I kept the demo tapes for Tony's stuff at home.
Cool.
And when his manager was looking for them a few years later, I had them. So that sort of
you were like, yeah, you have them at the right.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more a case of I think thievery is okay at certain times.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you saying you met Tony through Cradle of Filth, or was it just the studio we were working in?
It was the guy that was producing Cradle of Filth is a guy called Kit Walven, and he'd been Tony Visconti's right hand man doing. He'd done Bowie and Thin Lizzy. He came in to do the Cradle of Filth record, and he knew Tony. So while we were mixing, he went over to see Tony and said, "You should really come and check out this studio nearby." Tony came in, loved it, and he and I got on really well. Kit went off to do another project, and that was that. So I just got on well with Tony. He and I have got a similar sense of humour, and we enjoy working.
You've got a great sense of humour, Mike, so you can imagine what he's like.
Yeah, he's a practical joker, but he's really funny.
Yeah, man. What a legend.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how many albums did you do with Black Sabbath?
I've done the Dio years with Ronnie Dio and Sabbath. I then did the follow-up album, which was they called themselves Heaven and Hell because Sabbath still existed with Ozzy. That was the final album with Ronnie. That was called The Devil You Know. Then I did 13, which was the final studio album. There he is. And then I did the mix on the final 2017 final concert that they did for the End of the End tour.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you win a Grammy from that?
Yes, we all got the awards for the 13 album. We were nominated for 3. And
that's incredible, Mike. That's absolutely amazing, buddy.
It was brilliant.
Everybody, we got a Grammy Award winner on you.
But it was the worst year of my life when that happened because I was right in the middle of having a breakdown. So I didn't really get to celebrate. It was like, you go through the entire process of wanting to get your first #1 record, and that one went #1 in 33 countries. And I was on a roll with doing a Priest album, and then the world came crashing down. So, but it's fine. Everything's good.
Cool, man. So who did you work on the Sabbath album with? Was it Rick Rubin?
Yes, Rick was the producer on 13, and he came in. The process on that was a good couple of years, because during that process, there he is in his pajamas. And he was in his pajamas. We made him come down to have that photo taken. He wasn't happy.
I love it.
Ozzy called him all sorts. But we, during the process of writing that, we'd been on it, give or take, a year, and we were due to go in and start recording. And Tony got diagnosed with lymphoma, which is a form of blood cancer. And with that and everything that went on after that, we ended up another year before that was completed. So during that period, we saw Rick about 6 times for 18 months, and then he was heavily involved in the rest of the process. So it was really good fun, actually. I mean, he's an odd guy, but he really did change the face of what they were doing. And for a moment there, we had all 4 original members for 6 months, which was brilliant.
Did
Bill Ward, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bill left.
Who ended up drumming? Was it Brad Wilk?
Yeah, in that photo, that was Brad from Rage Against
That's it,
the
man.
Machine.
What
Yeah,
a drummer.
Brad Wilk.
What
He's
a drummer.
brilliant. And he looks
Solid.
almost relaxed in that, but he spent most of the process absolutely panic stricken because he just didn't get everybody's sense of humor. And again, he's so easy to wind up, but he's a lovely guy. Just brilliant player as well.
Solid drummer, isn't he? Really
Yeah,
solid
he's got
drummer.
groove as well. I mean, every Sabbath fan will tell you that he's that nobody can beat Bill Ward, and that's true. But he certainly had something about him that he came up with some really good ideas, and that's why he was chosen out of a few other people, because he wasn't as quick picking the songs up, but he brought so much creativity to it. So he was great. It was really good fun, and so easy to wind up.
Was it recorded at Shangri-La? Was it mixed at Shangri-La? Was it?
Yes, Shangri-La's. It's just up from Zuma Beach in Malibu, and it was originally where when Bob Dylan and the band came across and settled in California, they hiked up on this plot of land, and they brought their Airstream trailer, which is like the kind of a small tour bus kind of thing, caravan bus. That parked up in the backyard, as they call it, and that has stayed there. And it was just a ramshackle place, but it kept going for years. And then back in about end of 2011, Rick was saying that he thought the studio was going to shut because the owner just couldn't sustain it anymore, but he wanted to sell it as an ongoing concern. So Rick ended up buying it because he loved working there. And it's actually a really cool place.
It does look really cool.
It's exactly the same as it was in 1970 something, but he's built this much nicer place around it. He's kept the actual essence of the studio. Exactly.
Oh wow!
That's amazing. The history there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. We were due to start recording in January 2012, so we had to kick Muse out because they were doing the Second Law, and then we didn't go back. So they didn't rebook, but there's this sort of sequence of bands that have all recorded there, and it's just, the vibe is amazing because you're just down by the ocean, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, vibe is everything.
Yeah. It certainly made a difference to the guitars because they'd been up in the Calabasas Mountains in an air-conditioned room for about 6 weeks, and when we got down to the seafront, as it were, none of them would stay in tune because the humidity and temperature had totally fucked them up.
That was a bit like ours on the recording sessions with you.
Oh, no,
Mike.
yours were way worse. That changed because he changed the key 2 weeks before.
I don't think Dave ever heard of a setup until you mentioned it.
Well, at least you brought tuners. A lot of bands don't.
Well, Shiner's bought a camper now, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he bought the cat. You know what? You obviously know he's dead against all that, wasn't he? But
Oh,
he
yeah.
went out and bought one. The foot pedal version. So
Right,
it's the
yeah.
same thing, but it's the stage master or something. It's called.
Nice. I think
So
they're
he's got that
brilliant.
one.
I mean, Jeff and I were just having this chat. It's each to their own. He's a Helix Line 6 thing. The Fractal, the Kemper, they all do a good job. It's just making sure you know how to use it. And
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
great. No, I'm pleased because, yeah, when I first met Shiner, I uttered the dreaded word Kemper at Baz's place. And
I remember it.
I thought he was going to fucking throw something at me. But we eventually got to know each other, and he understood that I wasn't trying to change his sound. And they're really great. They came in useful. Came in useful during overdubs, actually, because I came down to your rehearsal room, didn't I? And we did a
That's
day
right.
of overdubs.
Yeah, and you've got
Yeah.
You've got your guitar sound on there,
Yeah.
haven't you? You haven't got to set everything up exactly as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Why
for an
haven't you got one then?
I can't afford it. I'm an out-to-work musician at the minute. So
And you know what? They don't do bloody endorsements either.
No, I know.
No,
I
that's what we're
was just
finding out
bigging
now.
them up for nothing now. Gutted.
Damn.
Well, Kev Papworth Morgan broke the straw at the camel's back with Shiner because he's convinced him they're great for traveling. So when we're flying, it'll save a bit of money. So that's kind of like, I know Shiner's listening to this now, so I know that's kind of like got him in there. That's
Good.
twisted his arm, like, you know. So
they're so useful. I mean, I think the thing is, you've got to be careful with. We don't want to get too technical, but I think you want to be careful with them with the on-stage balance. If you're putting it through a cab and it's like Dave's got a head and a cab going and there's a similar on-stage volume, that's great. I think the problem comes with them when someone's got 4 4x12s and the other guitarist just got a Kemper and he's only listening through in-ears and a stage monitor. You get this real imbalance on stage, and what projects out to the audience, even if you're in a big PA, it still really skews the sound you get on stage. So you just have to be mindful that they're not a panacea for guitar sound, but they are fucking brilliant. I know a few people that use them that don't say it publicly. I don't know why.
I think they're almost coming to, like, not necessarily Kempers, but models are almost industry standard now. And for touring bands who fly and travel a lot, they're almost getting to be industry standard now because it's not feasible to be flying all your rig around with you, you know.
Exactly. And you get this thing with like sound guys that, you know, they sometimes have to carry the monitor desk around with them because budgets have been cut so much, so they'll have a little 16 fader monitor desk to do the job, and it's brilliant. I think the important thing is you just entertain the fans.
Yeah, of course it is.
Exactly.
And you've got to have room for the little flight case at the front of the stage for Shane to stand on as well, so that he can get above all the other singers. You could actually put a Kemper in that flight case.
There we go.
There we are then. Happy days.
I'm allowed to take the piss because I'm hundreds of miles away and you can't get to me. You probably know where I live, though, so you'll end up sending a turd in a paper bag and setting fire to it.
How was this lockdown treating you, Mike? Is it, you still working at home, or how things panned out for you in this lockdown?
They've been okay. I had a run of work leading up to it. I did have another album booked, ready to go, which was going to start in April, which will probably now happen in September, October. I had enough work to be getting on with, and other stuff has come up. It freaked me out for about 2 or 3 days. It was because I suddenly, a couple of things got cancelled and the weather changed, which was a massive thing. It was like suddenly it was like doomsday was happening. And I was really freaked for a couple of days, and then survival instinct kicked in and I started talking to friends and I realized they were more freaked than me. And I seemed to then take on this sort of, I don't know, advisory, compassionate pair of ears. And And I found that by just having a chat with people, that it was really helping me. And I was getting in touch with old friends that I hadn't spoken to for ages, and everybody seemed to be coming together a bit more and wanting to talk, and that just got me through that initial thing. And then, amazingly, I've been running out of time to do anything because my whole schedule changed. I gave more time to me, to Mariana, to the family, to doing shit that was important. And so it's actually been semi-beneficial for me. But I know, I recognize I've been lucky because I live in a nice place that I can go for walks and get out in the countryside a bit without doing any, lockdown breaking. But it's been okay. I've had a couple of moments where I've been freaked out in shops where, people suddenly, they're on top of you.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bizarre thing, but I think we're sort of so far in, we're used to it now. I read an interview with a guy from China, a British guy, just after it started, and he said, you're where we were like 2 or 3 months ago. You kind of get used to this uncertainty, and we sort of are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Although I know I should pronounce China, if we're going to say the word properly, as our dear President Trump says. China. Because it's from China.
He's entertaining, isn't he? He's entertaining.
That's the thing, isn't it? You've got to have a fucking laugh because, I mean, we could be going through that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. I find I'm adapting, I do, Mike. Like what you just said then, we're 12 weeks or whatever it is in. For me, I haven't really been going out. So I haven't, like for a lot of people, life haven't changed because they got work and stuff like that. But for me, life has changed because I've spent more time at home. But I'm actually, like you said, getting to do things that I didn't get the chance to do and get to spend more time with the family, which I've always wanted. And then you start adapting to this new life, new world. And it's bizarre in a way, but you do adapt really quickly, which I found the other day. You keep your space, you keep your 2 meters, and now all of a sudden you're going out without the fear. Where I remember I said it to Shane, I did my first Tesco run. He warned me about it, and that's many, many weeks ago. He told me all about it. He said, I went out and it was just weird. Now it's almost it's fine to follow the arrows around the shop, and now they're removing the barriers. People are almost crossing the streams, as they say. But you kind of know how to handle a bit more. You do the cool woo and you swing past them.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, and I think that's why obviously there's fearmongers out there. I'm fairly pragmatic. I analyze stuff, and I know that if I overthink it, or if anybody overthinks it, you're going to just put yourself into a really bad place. So I looked at this stuff, and I think what's going on, everybody's got to be aware there's some real shit out there. But the thing for me is that the comparisons with, say, the Spanish flu 100 years ago, it's a fucking night and day. It doesn't matter whether the disease is any more or less deadly or the transmission rates are higher or lower. They didn't know what we know now on many levels. And the most important level is we know about social distancing. We know about what's actually going on, the news. We've got analysis going on. So although there's stupidity out there and there is a chance there'll be a second wave, the idea that just because it's happened in the past really badly doesn't mean it's going to happen again, because even though they're relaxing lockdown, and I use lockdown, it's not really a lockdown. I had friends who were being held, there were armed police on the ground in their countries, but they're relaxing things, but everybody's being sensible except for the few. But it's still about the way we've adapted, as you say, and we are doing a much, much better job. And I think it's a testament to what we're capable of. I really do. It is freaky out there at times, but you've got to just be able to move forward and just have, cheers, mate, and have some sensible approaches to everything.
Very, very positive spin on that, Mike. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wrote a piece about 2 months ago where I analysed what had happened to me in the past, and I think the reason that I see everything the way I do is because I went through so much shit that I've learned from it, and you just have to have these little things that you can say. I mean, one of the biggest ones is you shouldn't worry about something you can't control.
Yeah.
All you can do is control what's around you and worry about your day-to-day stuff. And there's no point programming yourself into anxiety and depression about something that may never happen. And this is the problem with I mean, fortunately, we've had our distractions like Dominic Cummings. I mean, everybody, when I said I was coming to Durham, everybody said you're going to get your eyes tested. Obviously.
I was going to drop that joke earlier. Yeah,
But it's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, it's like literally whatever you can do to divert the thing. But this is the thing, you know. We get on with it, and we've just got to try and make something positive out of what we do, and not, you know, not get ourselves into this bad area. As long as there's a distraction there, and that can be of our own making or our friends, which is why this stuff is so important, because this is normality. I know it's a pain in the arse not being able to see each other, but this is normal. This connects people, and there's a much bigger sign of humanity coming from all this. You know, I mean, there's some shit still happening in the world, but when you look at what's going on, people aren't worrying so much about some of the stuff they were worrying about before.
Very true.
The nitpicking isn't going on unless you're looking for it. So anyway, that's my lecture over.
Oh, that's great.
No, it's very, very positive, Mike.
Yeah, it's made me feel really positive. That's cool.
Good.
How much do I owe you, Mike?
Well, you know. That's all right.
10 quid.
All right then.
Tip generously, Dave. Send the bank details over, Mike, and
Yeah, I'll put them in the chat.
yeah, do it.
Which I can't read because I'm too vain. I've literally been on my glasses all day, and I've decided to have a rest.
Can we ask a few questions that everyone is watching has asked?
Yeah.
We got one here, Rob Evans. Do you have to approach different types of bands differently, or is it the same process?
So I would say the process or the overall approach would be the same. Is to get them as early a stage as possible, make sure that you can get on with them, and make sure the songwriting's in a good place, and sort of herd them all in the right direction without being controlling. But I think every band needs to have their own individual production approach. I'm always very careful. Sometimes it's like with Ronnie, it was like, great, I don't have to play to a click. Great, no, you don't. But if you'd wanted to, that would have been fine too. There's all sorts of ways you can do stuff. There's multiple ways of producing records, and it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. So, and an artist will change as they go. I mean, I've done albums with Tony where we've overdubbed the drums on other stuff, and we've done albums where it's just everybody plays together. It's the mood that people are in, or what's right for that particular project. So all I care about is that the songs sound great, that the artists are enjoying it, and that when they're expressing themselves, they think they've done the best job they possibly can. So it's like getting into the way that they're delivering their vocals, they're telling the story. Everything's about storytelling, you know. It's like when you're making an album, it's not just a series of disconnected songs, which shouldn't be, unless it's the greatest hits of dance music or something. If the way you sequence an album is important, especially if you're going to vinyl. It's like having the start and the end of side one, having the highs and the lows. That's like a big song.
Yep.
So it's and it's a very big song if it's a triple album by Yes. So you've got to put the effort into understanding the big picture and then helping the whole project along. And you're just there as a psychologist most of the time.
Well, that's what I was going to say, dude. That's what I took from our sort of recording sessions with you. It was more. I hate to make it sound like a football analogy, but you are like a man management sort of manager, where like Harry Redknapp has always said, you may not be in the best footballing brain, but man management, you know what I mean? How it would be different to certain people, how they would respond. And I saw that, how you would treat, like you said, the process was the same, but you may have to gone about it slightly different. Take the scenic route with certain members. I'm not just talking our bands, but I just saw how you were ready to adapt depending who the session was with.
I think the artist that is the boss. So there's no point the producer putting his own stamp on the project. I mean, the producer shouldn't really have a stamp as far as I'm concerned. It's the artist's project. It's their songs, and they've got the vision for what it needs to be. But I think the producer needs to help them get to that point and solve problems and take every technical detail out of the equation. Therefore, it makes it a much, much more musical process rather than everybody worrying about what the fuck we're recording on and what does this button do. That's irrelevant. And I tried to take, you'd laugh if you saw, well, you can see a bit of this place, but there are so many fucking computer screens in here at the moment because we're setting stuff up. But I tried to take the screens out of the equation. I mean, you probably saw most of the time I was sat at the console with the screen over to one side, listening. The discussions were made looking back, you guys at the back of the room chatting, rather than pointing at stuff on a screen. We might do specific things where it's like, I think it's this section here, let's chop that and make it work. But the point is to listen to the music. It's not about looking at waveforms. And I think that's where the involvement from the early days, when I came down to rehearsals with a little micro recorder, listening to the songs, making sure that you're learning them all together, because then everybody's invested in them. So I don't even know if that answered the question, but sorry if it didn't.
There's a bit of a side question there from Joe Davenport, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to like the music to work with a band?
I think so. I think otherwise you're just doing it for the wrong reasons. I didn't like Cradle of Filth when I first heard it. That's why I didn't produce that album. That's why Kit came in, because I didn't like what they were doing, because I couldn't get up past the vocals. So I said, I'll be on hand, because I was head engineer at the studio. But the funny thing with that was, because Kit came in, I got to meet Tony, and because the keyboard player was challenged in a keyboard way, I got to play all the keyboards on the album. So that sort of, all these things sort of happened for a reason. But and I grew to like Cradle of Filth. I still don't like Danny's vocals, but that's because I don't like that kind of music. Unless you can get him singing an Anathema song, which is really funny because he sounded a little bit like Joy Division at that point.
Wow, that's a bit of a departure.
R2D2 does Ian Curtis.
Wow.
Actually, he's more C3PO. He's the height of R2D2. But he it's brilliant. We call it to himself, but he's got that thing. He's very well spoken. He's quite quickly the way he speaks. He's like, are we going to be able to do vocals soon? And it's like, all right, 3PO.
Doing his arms a bit like this.
Exactly. Hey, and I said, you can take those fucking stupid wolf contact lenses out as well. They're really freaking me.
He doesn't wear them day to day, though, surely.
Well, he just bought them. This was back, not 97, 98. Yeah. So he was having to get his eyes used to them, and we're like, oh God, no. Take them out.
That's going to put you off, isn't
it? Another question, Mike.
Yes.
Who of all the people you've recorded would you like to record again, and who would you love to record that you've never done before? 2 questions, eh?
Well, the obvious one would be Ronnie Dio, which obviously isn't going to happen because he died 10 years ago. 10 years ago last month. I'd love to have done another album with Ronnie. That would have been brilliant because the band were on a roll and it was just stunning. And he was such a pleasure because it was his job to sing, is how he put it. And I'm here to entertain the fans and to front this band. And he was just stunning. And it still gives me goosebumps watching stuff that he performed that we'd done in the studio. There's a brilliant final show they did at Wacken, or whichever year it was. It was just brilliant, doing the songs from the album we did together to that audience. Someone I haven't recorded, I don't know. Annihilator.
Come on, mate.
His next album.
He said.
He sat at his new toy. He's got another new toy over there, which is we're not going to mention because it's name checking, a terrible, terrible thing. But I've been giving him shit about it since he decided he was going to order one. I think he's booking a holiday, actually, if I'm not. But no.
Looks like he's about to fly somewhere with that.
Exactly, yeah. I really don't know. I think, God, someone I'd love to. It's so difficult. It's so open-ended. I would have said a long time ago, I'd have said one of the guys from Pink Floyd, but I'm now at the stage where I wouldn't want to because I think they did fine without me.
I'd like to record David Gilmour's guitar.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. What you just said then is exactly what I love about you. It's like it's honest. Like you just said that they do fine without me.
Yeah.
That's really good, man.
Well, because it's like,
really
my favorite album of all time is Pink Floyd's Animals.
Animals, yeah.
Oh.
And I, when I first started doing this, I'd love to get hold of the multi-tracks. That would be so fucking stupid. Because the reason I love that album is because of what it is.
Yeah.
You know, this
I got that record in front of me there. It's over there.
It's brilliant.
Record, yeah.
Do keep that next to your rabbits, Dave. Animals.
Funny enough, yeah, it is above the rabbits, yeah. It is.
Another question, Mike. Is there a band you had the chance to work with but had to pass on, and that album then went on to be huge?
No, I haven't had one of those. No, I'd love to say I had. I've worked with a couple of people who did. I know Tom Allen, who did the last Priest album with, which is lovely because we bookended careers because he recorded the first 3 Black Sabbath albums and I did the last 2. And we worked on a Priest album together. He passed on Slippery When Wet.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No
Wow.
way. Oh, bloody hell.
He had a really successful career at that point, and he did do a whole bunch of Priest albums. He also did the first Def Leppard album as well. Was it On the Night? I think it was that one.
Mm-hmm.
So he's philosophical about it. He's like, who knew?
Yeah.
That's incredible, though.
Hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything. No. I'm lucky because that would really gruel, wouldn't it? It'd be horrible. It's the wrong word, but you know what.
We got any more?
Yeah, they've run out. They've run out of steam.
No. Got a question. Who is the biggest influence on your career?
I would say, in terms of personal influence, it's been Tony from Sabbath and his manager Ralph, because I've had 24, really going on 25 years now of pretty personal mentorship from the pair of them. They took me under their wings when I was a young whippersnapper, gave me opportunities, and have watched me make mistakes, watched me go through some shit, but also got me through them and given me incredible advice. So on a personal level of just this thing that money couldn't buy, I mean, I was paid to work on projects because they trusted me, and that's an amazing thing, because the joint experience that pair have got is absolutely stunning. On a personal influence, mixing and engineering production, there's a couple of people. I think Andy Wallace, from a mixing point of view, I don't think can be beaten. I think he's just brilliant. But then Bob Clearmountain as well, just in a different field. And production-wise, I think I really think it's people like Quincy Jones, Mutt Lange.
Yeah, man.
Stunning.
Yeah.
They all, you know, they produce for the song. You know, Mutt's known for this perfectionism, but when you actually listen to a lot of his stuff, it's actually not technically perfect, it's musically perfect. And he unfortunately went through a phase where the only thing available to him to make his visions come true were things like Fairlights and Simmons drum kits. So that's why everybody's like, oh, Mutt Lange sound. You know, that's all they had. So now allowed him to actually manipulate the audio. But you listen to the stuff he's done over the years. You take it back from Back in Black through Shania through to Muse and beyond. I mean, I still think one of the albums that he did, the Nickelback album. What was the Nickelback album that Mutt did?
Silver Side Up.
No, it was the other one. Black Horse. Black Horse.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Right.
Yeah, it's stunning.
Oh,
Really
mate, the tracks on that album were brilliant.
Yeah.
And the guitars sound amazing.
Yeah,
I love that
exactly.
record.
It's a huge sounding record,
But the songs are great.
yeah, exactly, and that's what he goes for. And he's, you know, he's kind of reclusive. Oh, there we go. Is there my little
Hey.
metalhead? Yeah. You got that because they're Canadian.
Yeah, they're a cracking band. I know they get a lot of hate, but what they got amazing songs, man. Do you know what I mean? I'll come forth and say that. I know.
And what I like about them as well is, well, one thing that really struck me was how giving Chad is. There's a great interview with Devin Townsend, who is mental and incredible musician and songwriter, and he said he hung out, because they're from the same town. He hung out with Chad Kroger one day, and Chad basically just took him to one side and said, "You need to turn your vocals up in your mixes, man." He said, "You're better than you think you are. Make your vocals louder. We can't hear you. You need more confidence." And just literally this nugget of advice to Devin Townsend. Whether he took it, I don't know. But it's like, these are the kinds of people who, when you get that sort of advice from someone, it's coming from this thing inside of just like, dude, I really want to help you. Just, you know, try this. And he could have just shut up and tried to blow smoke up his ass, but he didn't. He was like, you know, you might not want to hear it, but I think you should do this. And it's that kind of drive. You see it a lot in people. A lot of people in bands get real shit for decisions that they may make with band members. Dave Grohl didn't come across particularly well in the Foo Fighters documentary. You know, he's like, oh, I got rid of him and he was bitter and this. And Tony's infamous for having the revolving doors period of Sabbath. But the creative mind in a band doesn't see that. They just know that their name is on this project and this is the band and this is what it's got to be. And somehow we've got to get this record made. And they don't do it to be arseholes. They're just like, shit, he's left. What can we do? We need to replace him. We've got to get someone in so we can create this thing, because there is this thing inside me that I have got to get out. And that's every creative mind on the planet. You can't stop that creativity. So I think, you know, I think anybody that's part of that process is brilliant. And Nickelback have written some amazing songs.
Yeah,
they're the ones that people choose to hate. Bryan Adams was hated in the 80s, You know, fucking poor guy. He had 16 weeks at number 1. What a tit. What a fucking success story.
It took something like 45 minutes to write, didn't it, or something?
Yeah, and what's incredible about it is that, you know, it's huge, and everybody goes, oh, Mutt Lang, fucking hell, he's a cunt. You know, he hasn't, he just overproduces everything. Well, when his engineer, Mike Shipley, died, about, I think it was 2012, this guy died. He'd just been moderating a forum on production, and he was talking about Mutt, and a couple of people having a go, and he said, now this is like 8 years ago or so. He said, well, he goes, at this point, Mutt has produced records that have sold 800 million, so he can't be doing a lot wrong.
Yeah.
And that's, Bryan Adams got to number 1 and stayed there for 16 weeks. A lot of people bought that record, a lot more than the Moaners. So I think you've just got to stick to your guns and produce what you want, you know, get it out there, because do it for the fans. People are going to hate it or love it, but you've got to do it for yourself. And you'll still, people will hate it or love it, but at least you haven't tried to please someone.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
Because if you do try to please someone, you'll end up not pleasing them anyway. So
you end up second guessing, because you're like, oh, it's, you know what, it's like that thing of when I send a mix out or I make a suggestion. If I keep it inside, I'll never know what it's going to sound like. Now, I know songwriters who have been writing the same song and re-demoing it and sending it and not sending it out, and then rewriting it and then re-recording it. And for 20 years, this song has never come out. And you can guess where they are. They're fishing somewhere in Norfolk, because they never did anything. Whereas if you actually go, okay, the only way I can learn from this is to actually go, stick it out there. Somebody's going to like it. If everybody hates it, then I'll shoot myself. But if someone likes it, it's a start. And if I get positive feedback, that's even better. But you've got to at least put it out there to have it judged. And I mean that in the nicest way.
Here you go, Mike. A guy called Charlie Farley's just commented, we still haven't been locked down as long as Bryan Adams was at number 1.
Exactly.
I love that.
You know? That's a good did you know, guys.
The good thing about that is that during this lockdown, we haven't got Kevin Costner playing a guy from Sherwood Forest. The only good thing about that movie was at least Alan Rickman was the sheriff of Nottingham, and he was fucking...
He was class.
Yeah. That's a great film.
String him up. Stick him over there.
It's brilliant. But yeah, and Morgan Freeman was a young man in it.
The Painted Man, yeah.
I don't think he's ever been a young man, has he?
I don't think he has. I'm surprised. What struck me, and this isn't a black thing, was just because it's just like that same thing. I can't believe James Earl Jones is still there doing Darth Vader.
That's right, yeah.
Because when they did episode 1 with that awful Anakin Skywalker kid, they were recording a load of Darth Vader lines in case he popped his clogs. And
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that as an actor? They're like, oh, James, get in here. We'll do a few lines in case you, in case you pop the clogs. Like, oh. I watched the newest one the other day, the Star Wars films. It's really good, man.
Good, yeah,
they're really good. Yeah.
I'm missing the cinema. I used to go a lot with my my younger son. He and I, it was our thing. We got Cineworld cards, and it's like, all right, cinema this weekend, and really missing it.
Yeah,
but
little things, isn't it? But
yeah. But now we do the well.
I know there's a new Bill and Ted coming out, isn't there?
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
It's gonna be shite, isn't it?
It's not gonna be shit. It's Bill and Ted, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, I have to say, Keanu can do nothing wrong, because he got Halle Berry in very fine form for the John Wick 3.
Do you know? I thought you were going to say that he can never do any wrong because he got Halle Berry pregnant.
Well, that's how your mind.
I was going to go. Fair play, son. Fair play.
John Wick 3 was brilliant. I mean, there's a sequence in it that is just ridiculous, where the Belgian mountain dogs and John and whatever her character was are just fighting for about 15 minutes gratuitously.
Yeah. It's just like.
I think my uncle was trying to describe it to me, going, "Oh, check this out. John Wick. I was like, all right. He goes, yeah. He kills about 400,000 people in the first 10 minutes. And he goes,
No.
they all started because someone killed his dog.
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
I'd be the same, but I'd be the
It's
same.
true
Someone went near my
story.
dog, it'd be
It is a
game
true
over.
story, though. It was
I
based on
can't-
somebody's birthday.
Someone wrong with it.
It was.
Brilliant.
Right, guys, I'm going to call it an evening now because Lisa's got an early start tomorrow. So,
Bless you.
yeah.
All right. Good night.
Will keeps turning.
Mm.
Mike, it's nice to see you, mate. I'll catch up soon. Bye,
Take
everyone.
care, Dave. Ta-ra, man.
Bye.
Ta-ra, buddy.
He's still listening.
Of
Yeah,
course
probably.
he is.
Probably.
They're always
So can we
listening.
get a bit serious and deep here, Mike? I know you have no problem with that, buddy. It was like when we came up to record with you, we had some long chats.
Mm.
It was the start. Now looking back, it's hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Looking back, it was the start of where my problems were, and I remember talking to you and you were telling me about famous people who had problems with their partners and stuff, and how you can use that negativity as a positive in songwriting and stuff. But as you said earlier, you dabbled on it. You had a tough time. You kind of had a bit of a breakdown, as you put it.
Yeah.
But how you have now used that, and you're doing talks around the world about depression and mental health and
Yeah.
stuff. Do you want to talk about that? Elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, my story was, I'll keep it short because it's out there to be read about. But I did go through a really bad breakdown that ended up it started it manifested itself in May, I think it was, of 2014. And by Boxing Day of that year, I was in hospital given 2 days to live because I'd gone through I got to 2 sets of different antidepressants and various stuff that was being tried to help me, but I'd gone too far. I was literally in the downward spiral to the bottom of the river, and I started to self-medicate with vodka for about 3 months, and it wasn't a good look at all. And I did so much damage to myself that I was hospitalized with 6 life-threatening conditions on Boxing Day, and made it through the first 48 hours, and then started to show signs of improvement. And ever since then,
Sorry,
there-
Mike, before you go on, what started that? Do you know what started that?
So it was a slow build-up. It's like I talk about the I can't remember who said it. It was about production originally. It may have been Jeff Emmerich, one of the Beatles engineers. Said all the little 1% add up to make something amazing, but little 1% can also add up to make something really shit. And it's a bunch of small things that just eat away at you, and you can. There was a guy I did a podcast with back in January, and he put it like, if you imagine your mental health and your whole positive, negative kind of whatever, your waves, because you have to have positive and negative. You've got to have yin to the yang, otherwise you don't appreciate the other. So you have to have comparison. It's like when we first start to walk, the reason we learn to walk is we fall over, it hurts, so we try not to do that again. So everything is a learning experience. And the river analogy that he used was our energy, our positive and negative energy, is constantly like a river. It's going up to the edge of the banks and it's doing that. And we're kind of keeping on top of it. But what can happen is one small flash flood of emotion can push it over the river and the banks break. And the devastation it causes on the banks is massive. And that's what happened to me. So I went through a period of the stress from work was getting more and more, but I was loving what I was doing. I went
pressure of it, or
yeah, I mean, because as I say, I always knew I was in the right place, because when I was taken to places by Tony and Ralph, I'd be there because I was good enough. So I started getting put into some pretty high-profile sessions. I mean, you're talking hero worship sessions. You know, when Ian Gillan's sat there and he's the first voice you ever heard on a record because it was Jesus Christ Superstar, and he's suddenly recording a vocal for you, that's like, oh, that's good. And all these little things start to add up. And the pressure's fine as long as you're keeping it under control. Then what happens is the slightly bigger aspects happen. So in a relatively short period of time, I went from I did my first stint in LA, which at the time, 2008, that's still about center of the music industry, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is going to be heavy, you know.
Yeah.
And I got through that, and I got through that entire album. That was the one we did with Dio, brilliant. And then the next big project is actually that's the one with Gillan, and John Lord gets involved, who's a hero of mine. The reason I play keyboards. And so I'm put under a bit of pressure on that. And then Sharon and Ozzy get involved and we start on the Sabbath thing. And I'm told we're going to be spending a while working with Rick Rubin. And all this is great and everything's fine. But during that period, and at the end of that period, which I'd got through brilliantly, I then get the Judas Priest album that I'm going to produce with Glenn. During that final period of 2 or 3 years, 3 things happened, which were Ronnie died, which was massive for me. It was a major bereavement because this was such an amazing positive period of my life. And then suddenly he's taken away. And that hit me really hard. The second thing was right in the middle of Sabbath, Tony gets diagnosed with lymphoma, and I think it was stage 3. So this is almost like, oh shit, you know, this is huge. And I watched him going from the Iron Man on stage, and this, you know, this imposing guy who funny as fuck, really good friend, but he suddenly started shrinking into this guy ravaged by chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So I went through that, got through that, and then about a month into starting the Judas Priest album, Glenn tells me he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And I'm like, fucking hell, shall I just go and record the next Def Leppard album? Because I'm obviously jinxed, you know. Yeah. And by the time we finished the Priest album, Glenn and I had spent about 12 to 14 months in semi-isolation. We brought in the drummer, it's Scott. We brought in Ian, the bass player. We brought Richie in for the odd month. Rob had done his vocals, but they were very short spaces of time. And because Glenn was slowing down, and because this was hard for both of us, we kind of just got into a very isolated situation. That had a massive effect on my home life, to the point where I was starting to withdraw from wanting to engage with the family, because the stresses that I was having during the day were, I'd sort of drive an hour home and then I'd disappear into a room just to be on my own. So all of this really, really built up. And nowadays I would have just gone, I think I need a break. But I didn't take a break. So by the time we delivered the record over in New York to Sony, which was a lovely little trip. It was about a 2 or 3 day trip. We played it to the head of Sony, and all the label execs were there, and all the marketing team, and it was fantastic. Whole band were there, had a really good time. I got back from New York, thought my jet lag was going on a bit too long, and by the time I got through about a week and a half of jet lag, I then broke down and realized it wasn't jet lag. It was a massive one huge panic attack. And I went to see the doctor, and that was when he uttered the immortal words, "I think you've had a nervous breakdown, but I don't think you've hit rock bottom yet." And he was pretty spot on. So that was kind of May time, and I had ups and downs. I started to stabilize, but the mood stabilizers that I was taking were just doing that. They take your ups and your downs, your crashes and your highs, and they sort of do that. And they were keeping me above water, but my personality just totally changed. And I think the problem is it wasn't quite as well understood in public at the time as it is now. It certainly had a hell of a not a resurgence, but a bringing into the forefront the idea of mental health. I didn't know mental and health were two words that went together till about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
So
it's very difficult for me, like knowing you and how you are now.
Sorry about that. You said it's very difficult for me knowing you.
No, but knowing you now and you describing yourself then, you are an extremely positive person, and there's always like an answer. There's always an answer.
Yeah.
And so where you talked about earlier that you can't control things that are out of your control, you've literally suffered so badly for things happening to your friends that you have no control on, but it's affected you so badly that it's like you said, it's knocked the your notches, then the notches to put you in that spiral. But now knowing you, it's like almost like how did you let that happen? That sounds terrible, but knowing the positive person you are now, that wouldn't affect you as bad.
I said to my cousin, who I'm very close with, I said, if this had happened 6 years ago, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
If this pandemic had hit, because I would have gone on a real downhill thing. And I think the thing is, it's because I've actually learned from what I went through that I made changes. I took control of certain things, and I started to just, without getting too hippie about it, but I just start to see the outside world a bit. I started to focus more on everything that was around me instead of being so obsessed with this goal-driven thing. And I do a lot of talks, not just on mental health, but I talk to university students and I do mentoring on production stuff. And what I'd say to as many people as possible is, and it's especially relevant now, is to not just be single-minded about where you want to get to. There's a whole bunch of different paths that you can open yourself up to. You're not spreading yourself thin. But if you give yourself an opportunity to actually try a few different things, you never know what might come of it. And there's a lot of people that have been devastated by the thought of their industry collapsing. And it's horrendous what's going on in the music industry because we're kind of unprotected. We're the only, in an engineering and production sense, we're about the only industry that isn't unionized. And you know, you've got actors and technicians and various creative industries where there are unions involved in helping. And everybody in the music industry has been so closed and secretive about what they earn and what they do. Nobody wants to be part of a team. And for me, it's all about teamwork. It's you can't function without having some kind of feedback from people. So for me, just changing my whole outlook and going, it doesn't matter if I don't produce another record. I can mix. I can go and help people do what they do. I can, you know, I've made friends with Jeff here because I was recommended as being a guy that could really make his studio sing. I put together the system that now enables him to work, and with just a quick reset up, a completely different system that is able to come online to interface to this massive console, because I've put the effort in. I looked at the way of doing some remote recording with clients and didn't like the fact that most of it was too technical for them. I've had to learn a completely different piece of software from Pro Tools to make it happen. That's a challenge to me. I had to do a video thing of my home setup. I spent 4 hours doing a 2-minute video, but I learned how to do the editing on the iPad because it was a challenge. And I'm going to be doing some more writing because I did an article a couple of months ago about it was the strength of a hobbit, I called it, because there was a kind of comparison between Frodo's journey and what we do. And a couple of people have alluded to this quote when he spoke to Gandalf, you know, I wish this hadn't happened in my lifetime. You know, I wish I hadn't had to deal with Mordor and all this stuff. And Gandalf's like, I'm paraphrasing, but Gandalf's like, we all do, but we kind of have to do with what time we're given.
Yeah.
And it's the same. That's the whole thing about being in control of yourself, because if you've got a support network, that's amazing, and you only need one person who supports you, but you know you can move forward and you can reinforce each other. And I think that's so important. So to be negative about everything, I'm lucky because I know what the negative's like, and I won't go down that route again because I don't need to. I don't have the outside influences that would make me go down that route, and I've changed my entire life. So I think, it's got cold in here. Air conditioning problems, first world problems. But you know, it's I think the only thing you can do is try to maintain that sense of what's going on. And I have to be really careful, because anybody that's going through anything really bad, I'm not a counsellor. I can't do that. But I certainly know what small little nuggets can maybe help people look for support. Because the worst thing in the world is not admitting that you're struggling. It's a tough thing to do it. I mean, I know when you and I spoke, Shane, the immortal question came up. You've done a bit with mental health, and that was an hour-long conversation. Yeah, as a starting point. And I've had people doing that, and it's just, I think the thing that for me is when I see the amount of help I've given people by telling my story, and I put it out on a world stage. I went and did a talk at NAMM a couple of years ago, and it got filmed and put out, and there was no secrets in it, because they can't hurt me. You know, if people don't like my story, fuck them. I'm honest about everything that I did. I got a great relationship with my kids, my ex. It's fine. You know, it's really important to show that you've got inner strength, and that what you've been through has to count for something. That's why I'm positive about it, because I've always been a positive person, but you know, I a lot of times I had to put on a front because I was shitting myself.
But you know, you'll probably be, I don't know, perhaps I'm saying the wrong thing here, but you'll probably be a 10 times better producer. Because you've gone through what you've gone through, because you speak into those people as individuals. Forget musicians, I'm talking about as people. And that's what struck me when we come and done the session with you. I learned more as a person than I did as a musician doing a session. So it was almost like my dad used to say, he's not here no more, but my dad used to say, you meet people sometimes at the right time because you need to. And I genuinely believe that the whole session wasn't about the EP. It was about just meeting someone and talking the shit. Because I needed that at that moment. It was more important than a 4-song EP, which didn't come today, apart from those 2 songs went on that album. But yeah, it's just funny. It really is funny when you think about it.
That's why you can't discount anything that happens. You know, that's, as I say, this whole single-minded approach of these. And I get this. You know, let's just write down your 12-month, your 5-year, and your 10-year goals. Oh, fuck. If I'd done that 5 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined what I was doing now. And I wouldn't want to be doing what my goals were back then. And that goes back to Ronnie's very apt word of adapt. You've got to be able to adapt.
100%.
Run away from the predators.
It's okay.
That's it. That's lost the audience now.
No.
No, man, you're getting a lot of love here. You're getting a lot of love.
Yeah, and a lot of it rubbed off on all of us, Mike. So those sessions are fantastic. I mean, the beautiful thing is we always feel that we can pick up the phone to you. What did he say?
That's not the only thing that rubbed off on you.
Broligan.
Well, you did
Yeah.
sleep in one of Stuart's beds. I mean, oof.
Hey, how is he doing, man?
He's all right. I haven't spoken to him a lot. He's busy. Christ, there's a man that's had a bit of bad luck. Everything's fine, but his missus was involved in a near fatal car crash a couple of years ago on my birthday.
Oh, no way.
No, and she is fine, but just as she got out of, she was signed back on for driving. She got out the car and put her foot in a pothole and broke her ankle. I said she's fucking doing it deliberately. And then the cat got run over and went all Apocalypse Now on them. So he started getting flashed. It's been like a series of disasters, but he never complains. He's funny.
I liked him, man. He really tickled me. I tell you, one of my fond memories of working with you on that session was where, I forget his name, and I sound really rude here, but I think he produced is it ABC from the 80s? We were doing,
Gary. Oh yeah.
Gary, we were doing a live take, weren't we? And then a fucking dog walked in.
Yeah. The worst thing was Shane was doing a vocal and Gary bumbles in, and
That's right.
he comes along the corridor, and then the next thing is, oh, hang on a sec, he runs out, disturbs the take again, and then calls the dogs up.
Yeah. That's all I can remember for the cans was fucking hang on a minute, Mike. I got a bloody dog in here. It's a little Jack Russell, wasn't it?
It was. I thought you were going to say the thing you remember at that session was you bringing your bass cab down and us saying, yeah, why did you do that?
That's happened so many times. I kind of forgot about that, Mike.
I think it's it's something we do. We encourage you to bring your instrument, but I don't think it was really good. It was a fucking 8x10, wasn't it?
8x10 Mesa Boogie, yeah.
I see. If it'd been an Ampeg, we'd have probably used it.
No. Now, I've got this thing about Ampeg, as you know. But you never know, you never know. You've taught me a lot so far.
No, I had a lot of fun on that, actually. That was a good week. And then we had to break because Gary was doing the Tony Hadley string recording on the Friday.
That's right, yeah.
Shane and I had to come back on the Sunday amidst warnings of torrential snow or something. It was good fun. I enjoyed that. Fucking hell, that's 3 years ago, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
We were talking about that because your names come up throughout the CrowCasts of like what we've been doing and like the journey here. But I would definitely say those sessions, I mean, even back with Baz, they kind of they like what Shane said, they were all for a reason. They almost like they send you off on a path. You exactly like you said, mate, you evolve, you have to adapt. It changed how I thought of recording, even down to the way like you would suggest ideas and how to adapt to the ideas and how to be open and like you said about like always trying to beat the bar. So it's not necessarily set in stone. It's always kind of like trying to kind of evolve it.
Well, I love there's a quote. I don't know if you guys have seen the last 3 Star Trek films where they kind of rebooted them and they had Chris Pine as Kirk, and there's a bit at the beginning of the first one where Admiral Pike, and I can't remember the actor's name, but he's kind of an old guy. He finds Kirk. He's just been in a fight. He finds him at a bar, and he says, "You should join Starfleet." And he's like, "What could I do in Starfleet?" You know, and he goes, "Like, what could I do to change the world?" And he said, "Your father." I think he said he had 2.5 minutes, and he basically saved 700 lives. And he just goes, "I dare you to be better." And I've always kind of like loved that because I almost challenge the artist to improve themselves. And I remember you coming up, Ronnie, and we'd done some edits, and you went, "Oh, I'm going to have another go. I can do that better." And I'm like, because it's about opening up that recognition of what you're capable of.
Me and Shane had that conversation the other day, and that was because it's like a pin. I remember because everybody went out for a cuppa, didn't they? And we were talking about it the other day, Shane. It just sticks out in my head only because you don't feel like you've done enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to go back in there. You've got to at least have a go at trying to make it better.
Yeah.
And we were all
But-
happy
yeah.
with the
It's
end
one of the
result.
easiest production decision to make is you know, it's like people say, well, how many vocal takes do you do? And it's like, well, you keep doing them until they start getting worse. So why not keep trying and seeing what happens? And then if it starts going downhill, you know you've hit the peak. You don't know you've hit that peak until you try to reaching it.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, you know, and sometimes it is just down to physical energy on a day, and that's where I would call the thing and go, we can come back, but we have got what we've got, but can we beat it?
Yeah.
You know, there's no real magic to it. It's just keep throwing enough shit at it and see whether or not it can get better.
Yeah.
And then that becomes the ultimate decision lies in the person performing, and then it has to be a group effort because it's like, does everybody agree? And that's where I stand back and watch the sparks fly.
I gotta be honest, it's like when we were doing the live takes, I remember you saying, Mike, come on, Dave, let's get the energy out. And so Dave decides to pull his pants down, stand in front of Ron's kit, and start going like this. And while we're tracking, I'm like, how the fuck? I can't work with this shit.
I mean, for anybody that doesn't know woodworm, thankfully the control room doesn't have line of sight to the live room, so I wasn't able to see that.
It's so true. And I was more concerned not about the fact that he had his arse out. It was the fact that we placed a brick on the bass drum because I kept stomping it so hard it was traveling, and the daft bastard put his foot on the bass, on the brick, which was leaning against the skin, and I was aware of obviously Mike with the mic placement. So I'm giving him the edge of like
he's like this,
and he's like that with his arse out.
I said, Dave, what are you doing? Got to get the energy across on the track, haven't we? I'm like,
get the mood up, haven't you?
I can't comment because my arse has been out enough times over the years. Became my signature for a while.
Oh, brilliant!
Any final questions, boys?
Just a lot of love for Mike. Really, thank you for your honesty.
Pleasure.
The saying this tonight's CrowCast is quite cathartic. Lots of deep conversation, very open and honest. So good to hear everyone's outlook on life. And that's the thing, man. It's like it was so funny, Mike, right? We could have called our fans, you know how people call their fans, I don't know, if you think of like Justin Bieber, the Beliebers or whatever.
Yeah.
And for us, it was like CrowFamily, because there's nothing more chaotic, right? And loving but fucked up as family, right? And because it is the highs and lows. I the way to write songs and lyrics and stuff, you've mentioned it so many times. You got to hit the lows to feel the highs. You can't, and without one, you can't appreciate the other. And that's why we call our fans the CrowFamily. And you talking the way you do, you could just see, I'm looking at scrolling through all these
There's
messages.
just so many, Mike. Yeah. I went. That's incredible.
That's thank you for addressing the family.
That's my pleasure. Thank you for the point.
They are superb.
Love listening to Mike. Really nice.
I do. I feel like I'm one of his made men.
For me, because I was always the last to like do my part, I'd have to wait till all the sit down. I felt like I had counseling with Mike. Like I just had these, especially in the first studio, Baz's studio. You guys were doing your thing. I was downstairs in the kitchen talking to Mike about Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon and Sabbath, and he was telling me all his stories, and I was coming up to you boys going, fuck, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable.
That's my job. It's chief disruptor. If it's someone else's session, I disrupt.
Incredible.
I love it, man. I love it.
But how you have dealt with it is inspiring. But not just that, buddy. Like your professional career and your sense of humor as well, bud. You've done art that yourself and take the piss. And that's it. Life shouldn't be serious. You know, there are ups and downs. There are serious shit, but it is literally how you think about it that can send you over the edge. If you can say it with a bit of a smile on your face and just move forward, as you always say.
Well, I think the thing is, laughter is infectious. It really is, and I've always said it. You can actually hear a smile over a phone conversation.
Yeah.
And if you want to change someone's day, you smile at them, and sometimes they'll punch you, but especially in a public toilet. But if you if you smile at someone, it's so unexpected, they'll smile back.
Yeah.
And it does become this thing. You feel better when you smile. You certainly feel better when you laugh. And it's it's so simple.
It is, dude.
It's okay to laugh. I mean, it's like, some of the shit that's going on is horrendous. So why not watch something that really makes you laugh?
Yeah.
Because you do feel better.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It's been
Do you
absolute
know
pleasure.
what you've just said there, Mike, is exactly what I've been doing without realizing. I've like watching just funny stuff, surrounding myself with things which make me happy, but not realizing it. It's like the other night, I watched basketball.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be funny to go online and order a basketball jersey.
That's why I watched the Donald Trump press conferences. Well, until he kicked out all the reporters. Not much of a conference then, was it? It's a shame those antibiotics won't work against the virus, isn't it?
No Dettol.
Fucking retard. I might have to say that. Oh yeah.
Donald Dettol, Mom.
The bleach, innit? Drink some bleach and take some fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'd try it.
I know. Yeah, please.
Zinc. Zinc.
Oh man, and to any Trump supporters, sorry.
Yeah.
I love it when you do that, Mike.
Well, I've said it now.
I love it.
Thank you for coming on, Mike. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Good stuff.
Thank you, buddy.
It's great to see you, buddy, and I'm glad you're keeping well.
Please stay in touch, and when all the madness passes over, we'll meet up for a coffee, mate.
Absolutely. It'd be brilliant.
Looking sharp as well. Fair play to you.
Thank you.
You bastard.
True, eh?
Have a great night. I'll see you soon.
Take care, Mike.
Take care, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, bye.
That
was good to see him, man.
It really was.
That was really good to see him.
I was quite surprised how many memories come back, man. Just like,
as
soon as he started talking, I was like, boom. We were back there 3 years ago, having those conversations. Madness.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
That's what I was trying to say about the evolving. The seeds were there on that session. That's what I mean. So it's almost like the path had changed and like you were pointing out different directions. I only thought about that like a couple of days ago. That's, if you look back as far as there, that's almost where it started. Your life changed personally. It started, do you know what I mean? Everything kind of starts going off in that direction. Rather than that, it started doing that, which ain't a bad thing. Like just everything shifted, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly. But then being terrified about it, but then adapting to it, and then it takes a long time to adapt to it, and then that becomes normal, and then there's another journey, another avenue you can possibly go down, and it's just like you said, it's just evolving. It's just it's fascinating, really, because if you think back to the band we were 3 years ago, oh my god, what a completely different outfit we were.
Definitely,
Do you know what I mean?
definitely. Well, that's what I mean. I was sitting there thinking about it as a pinpoint in life. And prior to that, I probably worked with the same engineer producers for about, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years. So you never really, the goals never really move. You always know what to expect. You're never really challenged. It all becomes complacent. And then we worked down with Baz, and then we met Mike, and then obviously we went to Woodworm. And that whole him coming down to like music box, and the approach was different. And yet again, it kind of, I don't know, for me as a drummer and a musician, it put me on my feet and it gave you a new challenge and a bit of excitement, and it got you working completely differently, you know. And then the songs start evolving and they start changing direction. You know what I mean? The feels start feeling different, and you can tell, like, whether it's the boys playing guitars, they were challenged because
Oh man, I'll hold my hand up. I think the bass line for Behind These Walls would never have been what it is now if it weren't for Mike.
yeah, see,
Do you know
there
what I
you
mean?
go. Yeah, I
So,
agree there. I mean, he sparked off some ideas with me, and it's like even like the Shane, which we've actually gone on to re-record now, but the vibes are still there. Like with Shane with Go Get It, which we originally did with Mike, it almost challenged the boys to play a different style, because
Yeah.
not a lot of people realize that if you're watching this. It's like guitarists, yeah, you can learn, and there are very talented guitarists in the world who can play anything to the note and to the tab, but some people have like a style or a
feel,
certain
man.
feel to how they play. So you picking up a guitar might not be you know, to the book and how it should be, but there was a feel and a pocket to play in. And like I said, that's just the point. It just challenged us as musicians. That was a great time. And mentally as well. I had many a talk with Shane about, like, I don't know, Mike was just such a calming person. And I think a lot what he said to us on the benches and, you know, when we go out for pub lunch, and you took a lot from that session. That's what I think I'm saying individually. Shane took what he needed. I took what I did. Whatever you took, Lloyd, took a lot from that session mentally, and it made him a better guitarist as well, even moving forward, like, you know. So
Yeah,
and he's a
it
lot
did.
more.
Because and that's the beautiful thing. Like that session, whether you had a good session or a bad session as a musician, you learn so much from that. So the next one, I know Dave was like, after that session, our next sort of recording session was with Chris and Colin and Andy Sneap. And I know Dave was shitting bricks, wasn't he, boys? He was like, "Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not up for this." But then the boy absolutely.
Oh, he's on fire. He was on fire.
He knocked out the park, and he was like, "Oh, it's because of Colin, Chris, and I felt comfortable." Absolutely, 100%. But there was only one way that was going, and it was always going to be better than his last session. And but that's not because of Mike. That's just because he was with his own demons. Do you know what I mean? It's just fascinating, isn't it? Like the psychology behind recording, and that's why I asked Mike the question. It doesn't matter how talented you are as a musician. You have to, I don't know, sort of seek out how that person is as an individual and work to that mental strengths as opposed to his ability on an instrument. Because you could be the best guitarist, the best singer in the world. If you don't make that person feel comfortable, you ain't getting the best of them. And that's, I swear, you're right, Ron. Everything changed from that session because from a personal level, things were addressed that I probably didn't honestly myself until I spoke to Mike. And then everything changed. Mad.
Yeah, and for
Psychology
me,
is unbelievable.
and this resonates with you. For me, there was a seed planted that just started growing slowly, like, if that makes sense. And that starts to change your mind and your mindset and everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's all, I just sat there the other day and I thought about it, knowing that Mike was coming on, and I obviously reconnected with him and spoke to him, and it just brought it all back like that. Like you said, you start thinking about that session per se, you start thinking about where we were at that point of time. And then I realized where we are now. So there's there and now, and there's the timeline. And I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, you know, your journey is your own journey, but I can still see it with my eyes from what I could see being so close. And the same with all the boys, same with all of us as a band, how we become closer, how things changed business wise, how the mentality started to change. It all almost stemmed from that. And it just went off, and just like I said, almost like seeds being planted. Some grew quicker than others. But I know, like for you especially, that was a difficult time as it was. It just kind of, meeting Mike helped with issues, like, do you get what I mean? So
Yeah. I think we spent more time talking than we did actually recording.
I said that to you. I actually said to you, sorry, after the woodworm session, sorry, Lloyd.
That's right.
I had to go down to Music Box. I remember phoning Shane and going, it was a lovely thing and the worst thing I did at the same time, because I interrupted the guitars. Do you remember me saying that? Because I was like, I went down to see Mike because they had to do like some last minute guitars. I said, but it was the worst thing and a good thing and a worst thing, because the good thing is he connected about, he took a bit of a weight off my shoulders, as he did with you, Shane. I know he had that connection. He said something and I came home and told my wife straight away. I was like, wow, he has just said something and it's taken a massive weight off my shoulders. And wow, what an effect somebody can have with so many words. And he said it so beautifully. But the bad thing about that was I fucked up the guitar session, because we ended up having yet again, a counselling session where it should have been, right, come on, this is the last chance to get the fucking guitars done now.
Yeah.
But it's just it's the Mike Exeter effect. He's been there. He's been through so much. How can't that rub off on you? You've got to be pretty ignorant not to take some of his advice, like, you know. So
Yeah.
I honestly think, boys, I mean, around that time we were there, there was a lot of uncertainty. I mean, not so much within the band, but around the band, we wasn't sure. We had no record deal. We wasn't 100% sure whether we were going to do an EP. Where was it going? Do you know what I mean? We were in between. And like for me, I think this is the first time I ever said this, but I kind of felt a little bit of uncertainty of the times we were living in. But yeah, you're right. We had to do that to get where we are now, and how much has changed. That was really a tipping point, I think, in our careers.
Yeah. So
You
many
know?
people are afraid to take that plunge because it's like, oh, that's going to be bad. That's going to be, you put yourself in that position where it's like, oh, it's not going to be the best. But then you learn so much from that. Fast forward 3 years, we've recorded this album, and it's put us in that mindset of can't allow ourselves to be in that situation again. It's fascinating, man. That shit really turns me on, because it's like you can look back through your timeline and you can't understand what's happening. You can't live in that moment and fully appreciate what's happening till
No.
years after, and then you go, "Fuck! If that didn't happen, we wouldn't be where we are now." And that's the wonderful thing about hindsight. But it has to happen that way for you to learn and to progress. As Mike said, as you're a kid, you know, you fall over, and that's how you learn to walk. There's been many stumbles, but it's put us on the road to this, you know, wonderful opportunities now. You know, bigger festivals, bigger shows, bigger agent. The Crow family's growing. And as you said, it's almost like we had that in limbo. What are we
Yeah.
doing?
It was like a sort of grey area, wasn't it? Where nothing was really set in stone. We wasn't sure. It was
No,
just
but
we were just doing it.
Uric came knocking around the same time.
It was, yeah, literally just after, wasn't it?
Yeah, and things were changing. It all felt really weird, and it took a while to get our heads around it. But then when we did, after the session with Mike, he was like, "Look at all these opportunities now." It's
Yeah,
mad. It's mad when you think about it. It's
it
incredible.
is. It's almost
definitely.
it's a lesson. Eh? It's like when you think that nothing's happened. You just got to put yourself through it to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
that's the lesson.
I was going to say I might have the timeline kind of wrong, but I'm pretty sure we were working on the EP with Mike winterish time. Yeah.
I think we started doing a bit of pre-production around October.
There we
Yeah.
go. But October, then we went in to record the EP.
Yeah, it's like start of Feb, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so just rough timelines. Then we would have gone to Ibiza.
Yeah.
But I think we played Winter's End just after.
Yeah.
After,
We done Winter's End, and we done a showcase in London in March.
Yeah, then we did the Ibiza Rocks.
Ibiza.
Actually, Shane's right. Then obviously
The day after we flew on from Ibiza, we signed a deal.
signed with Uric. So it was like, but I definitely think, like I said, without touching on Boyo's life too much, I was like a big time for you, because it was all different decisions, and I think, It's only, like I said, it's amazing this lockdown for me personally. What other people watching and listening to this take from it? But I've done a lot of calm, just sitting there and kind of reflecting, because sometimes that's all you can do, and almost focusing. Like what Mike said, I'm not focusing too far because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But it's helping me channel what I want to do, because I'm thinking a lot clearer. And then little things like this come up. Oh, Mike, and then obviously, like I said, you start to realize, wow, that was happening. We didn't realize actually what was happening at that time. Like you said, Shane, you're not really aware of the moment. We were just kind of having a laugh with it. We'd met Mike with Barry Bayliss, like I said. That evolved quickly into recording an EP with him. The EP doesn't get the light of day because we end up signing with Uric, and we end up re-releasing Murder and the Motive and sticking a couple of tracks on there. And for anybody who wanted to know,
that's quite ironic, man, because some of the EP tracks went on the re-release of Murder, and then the other 2 tracks went on Point of No Return.
Yeah, well, it was amalgamation.
So,
yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Sorry, Lloyd. Say that again.
It's quite a ironic thing that like that transition in the middle of us self-releasing Murder, going in with Mike, Uric taking us on, releasing the new version of Murder, and then going in with Colin and releasing the Point of No Return. But like that EP got split and put on 2 albums, which we worked with Mike. Do you know what I mean? Even though they were like, some of them were re-recorded, but those songs having that Mike, it's kind of linked. Do you know what I mean? It's the stars have aligned.
It's literally the transition period, and
yeah,
it's insane. I can't.
It is, man. You know, I'm literally realizing this now, thinking, "Whoa,
yeah,
this is cool."
I'm struggling on the 4th song, boys.
It was Devil.
Thank you.
Devil in my pocket.
Sorry, I apologize. Yes, I was struggling on Devil then. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Go on, I apologize.
Because we've done behind these walls with him as well.
Yeah.
Behind these walls, go get it, Devil. Say it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a strong EP, wasn't it? Fair play. But even if you look back now, I reckon Mike would realize, like, not just the recording session with us, how it opened doors for him with Uric, because Uric then wanted him to manage his career. It's just mad how we got together and we had this idea of we're doing this, but the bigger picture was no, this is going to happen. So then it just became about people interacting with one another and then learning from Mike's life and experience, both like professionally and from his own point of his own personal life. It will be and always will be a real poignant session for me personally, because it sparked a new way of thinking. So
I just look thinking back about the bloody wood cabin I slept in on the bunk, and I was literally, it was like the gap between your elbow and the bastard gave me top bunk, and every night I'd wake up and go.
Yeah.
That was you,
especially if I got pissed.
That was, come on, Eddie, we get out the back now. We get away from them.
We can have a fag.
We're in the house like, fucking stupid.
It was fucking freezing as well. I think I had that heater on all weekend. Well, all week.
I remember going in there and opening the door, and the heater was on, and then you could smell like the pine. I was like, I can't say the smell of pine wood would just do my nut in. So I was like, I can't. And then you and Shane were like, we'll do it. I'm like, crack on. Was it me and you, Ron, that slept in the one room?
No, you and Dave, because of the snoring in there. So you and Dave had the back room.
It was freezing.
I see. When his bed moving across the floor as well. It was on little casters, wasn't it? It was moving around the room.
I woke up in the room.
Oh, boys, we've had some really good times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that studio was great. I mean, Jesus
was.
Christ, like the equipment in there and everything. But because there was like, obviously they wanted to save us, so there was accommodation that came with it, but it was tiny, wasn't it? It was really, really tiny. So
Yeah.
we wanted to work. You've never found a band who wanted to work so fucking late, because it was almost once they shut the studio, the house just went like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because there was no.
It was as if we all had our own set times to get up in the morning, so we weren't in each other's way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the incident when Dave fucked up the
Well,
pan
oh.
with the eggs. And then you know, anybody who does adulting would go and sort the pan out, but he just put him on the side and pretend they weren't him. And yet we all, because it was such a tiny place, we all watched him like, you just fucked that up, man.
But then fucking denied it.
Yeah. with me. Fucking hell, like. Yeah.
Oh man, we've
No,
had
that
some
was-
good times.
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah,
great.
and that's the beauty of this, is that sometimes you don't realize or appreciate it until you reflect, as Ron said. Look back
It was
and
when Dave was driving to Tesco's in Banbury and he missed a turn in. Ron, it was me and you sat in the back, and Shane went, "What are you doing? You missed a turn." Yeah, you better shut up, Shane. If it was me and you, we have words. I'm gonna fill you in now.
I was like, in what world is that going to happen?
I think you said, "Listen, Dave, I'm more of a lover than a fighter, but I'll fucking wreck you."
It's true. It's true.
And me and Ron just looked at each other and went,
It's just so quiet in the back, and it was funny. Like, oh, it's funny. But no, they are the good, just crazy ass memories. Like I said, it's a phenomenal time. And Behind These Walls, you know what I mean? That's a great track. That's still one of my favorites. That's one that live just keeps getting stronger and stronger, and
brilliant,
so many more ideas where to take it again. So it's, you know, there's a lot of good came from that time, like, you know.
Definitely, 100%. That's really been nostalgic out of us. That this whole CrowCast tonight is very.
It has, man. I'm still laughing at the roundabout incident with Dave. You better shut up, Shane. I'm gonna fucking fill you in now. Dave, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I'll fucking wreck you, mate.
Oh, bless him.
Oh man, I tell you, it wouldn't be the same without him.
It wouldn't.
Oh God, no! Jesus Christ, no!
How many times have I said that, boys? You take one crow out of this, it wouldn't be the same. Take one crow out, it wouldn't be the same. That speaks volumes. That does. So.
Yeah, all bring their own flavour.
Aye.
All bring their own flavour.
Gotta get the energy across on the track.
I tell you what, it took this fucking pandemic for us to appreciate everything we've been doing for the last 3 years. Anyway, that's the horrible thing about it, because we were saying in interviews before, fucking hell, I can't even think of the month, Christmas, and I was saying to like people like Morag and Charlie, Darren Griffiths, when we seen him at Winter's End, fucking everybody, all our family, all our friends. They were saying, "Oh, what's it like? You know, you just did download. Oh, what's it like? You just did this. What's it like? The album's gone to, you know what I mean?" And it's like, you weren't really in the moment because you're just constantly still you're working hard. Especially, like I said, it's a pleasure with you boys, because we are, even with all this going on, there's stuff behind the scenes that we're trying to work hard to think, right, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do next? And that's a real great thing, but we don't stop and appreciate until we have done the CrowCast. And I think this is why it will, you know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I hope it doesn't go when things start easing." And I think we'll always have to do this, because it is a good chance for us to kind of recap and appreciate what we do and what all the hard work, like you said on the phone earlier, Lloyd, how many mad fuckers would sit in a van for 12 hours in condensation just to go and play like 20 minutes and get paid absolutely fuck all.
Fuck all.
Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Absolutely nothing. Like, you know, takes you a day to travel somewhere, 25-minute set. Some praise off people. Oh, wicked, absolutely awesome. and you're back in the van, another day to travel home, and you're like, right, tidy. There's not a lot of
the
people that
fucking
do
pissing
that.
down rain, like.
Yeah, and there's so many bands who do that, and they're the moments that it don't matter about the big bucks or the fame or anything, because you're just creating memories and moments and a point in time that you can't buy that shit. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Do you remember the geese in Lockerbie, Pat? Come on, like, let's go see the geese. Let's go see
Yeah.
the geese.
I tell you what, you go stir crazy in a van.
You do.
Stir crazy.
Did a little disco.
Yeah, I think we all get in like with our bags and everything. And we're all like, "Hey, wicked, how you doing, boys? Awesome." About an hour down the road, we're like,
Fuck it!
I know. It is hard work. Like, people don't realize. But maybe they do, because like this, it's almost a form of isolation in itself, isn't it? And I think, like, people now, like, are kind of in a current situation are thinking, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You're limited in isolation. And that's kind of what we do, to me, when we travel up to Scotland and it takes you 8 months to get there. Like that, doesn't it? But some great, like, memorable memories, like, and it only you could be like pissed off for 8 hours, and then, like you said, there'd be a stop, and there's some geese, and then
Yeah.
and that changes everything, man.
It
Changes
does.
that 10
Oh,
minutes.
look, it's a goose.
yeah.
And I remember when you did that, I was sleeping in the van. Well, trying to sleep. I wasn't sleeping, but trying to get some rest. And all I can hear is your voices, and then seeing the video on Facebook, and then thinking, oh, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, and like people, but the download
disco
disco
bus.
bus.
Well, did Charlie had to get us out, didn't he? Because Shiner was having a fucking hypo.
Yeah.
Charlie had to get out of the van, go up to the fucking security and download and say, look, these boys have got to catch a flight. They got to get going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Shiner was going to die.
Did we have our tops off? Driving back, it stopped, then we got out and we jumped on the railings. There was like a railings. I remember being on a railings. I don't know how I got on the railing, but I was like,
a bloke from the campsite just randomly walked over because, yeah, mate, you want a can? I was like, oh, cheers.
No, that was Adrian. That was Shane Williams. And yeah.
Was it? I don't know who the hell it was.
Yeah, his mum and dad weirdly stumbled across a bunch of fucking arseholes.
Oh, we knew him, did we?
Yes, we knew
Oh,
them.
right,
I know him very well. Like, so yeah. They God bless them. Well, actually, what happened there, Lloyd? We were making so much noise and being, we were in the excitement of download. We just played download. We'd watched Def Leppard and everything, and then we ended up going in the bus back to the hotel. And we were playing everything from Neil Diamond to I think I can't even remember what else. What was it?
Oh, mate, it's the right 80s cheese on the go.
Ah, what's it? Enough is enough. Enough is
yes.
enough. Who
Yes.
sings that? Not Bonnie Tyler, is it? Is it Bonnie Tyler?
No, it's not Bonnie Tyler.
Oh God, enough is enough, and bloody whatever else was coming on as well. Lloyd shouting out Blue Oyster Club or something. I can't remember all the
Blue Oyster Cult, not the club you enter. Not into that shit, Ron.
Oyster Cult. Blue Oyster Club.
I don't know what clubs you go to, Ron, but I'm all right, mate.
I don't know.
We're not in Police Academy. We're not in Police Academy.
No. Beverly Hills Cop.
No,
Was it?
It was Patti LaBelle stirred it up from Beverly Hills Cop. That was it.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, that's what you wanted. But Shane's on about the Blue Oyster Club. Is
Police
when we were
Academy.
younger, we used to watch Police Academy, and Sergeant, not Mahoney, it's the
Tack, is it?
Yeah, no. And they
Oh my god, I just go back
they'd
memories.
always end up bursting through the door, wouldn't they? Like, and they go,
Yeah, they do like the tango now. Ah, man.
Oh, I'm just looking for the comments here.
Donna
Pete
said
Williams.
that.
Lloyd needed a poo all the way back to the hotel. Cheers, but thanks for telling everybody I needed to take a dump.
Yeah, and yeah, I think Shed took his clothes off or started taking his top off, and then singing Neil Diamond. And what happened was we were shouting, "We need more beer," or "We need more beer," and literally Shane Williams' mum and dad turned up with cans, almost to go up. No, you've had enough. Now go home.
But I remember stop the security.
That's it.
And then the doors opened, and then all of a sudden we're outside, like dancing. And I jumped on a railing, but it was like a barbed wire railing. I was stuck on the railing, because my hands was on this barbed wire, and I took them off. And because you're drunk, you're like, it doesn't matter. Get back in. I'm like, where's all this blood come from? Oh man, mad times. So funny.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, good time. Good times.
Oh, we had a good hell of a laugh, boys. Hell of a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have been doing that this weekend again. Look.
That main stage. Main stage.
But
Oh,
it's all good.
it is all good. It's all good.
Yes.
Why is it all good?
It's Saturday.
Because Saturday, we get to watch YouTube.
Yes.
Look at that.
On Download TV on Saturday, 13th of June, from 7 o'clock. Iron Maiden are headlining. Exactly how it should have been. I'm just so glad, boys. You've got to look at a positive, like Mike says. Let's not get too thin. You've got to look at a positive. At least we got to tell the CrowFamily what was happening. That's the positive thing I'm taking from it. Do you know what I mean? It would have been one hell of a secret otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's all good. And we got to talk about Police Academy, Shane. And
Well, that's
I know I
Mahoney.
got that vision of them walking into that bar dancing.
What was the little guy called on there? Sweet Chuck.
Yeah.
When he breaks his arm.
But I Jones is obviously the one who made the noises with his mouth.
Yeah.
Then it's
Zed. It's little back young man.
Mahoney was Mahoney was like the
High tower.
When he picks the suitcase up.
Yeah. Tackleberry. Remember Tackleberry?
Yeah.
Who had his guns.
The guns, aye.
Brilliant.
What was the woman? Oops, Ranky. What was her name?
Oh.
It's when she's trying to teach Zed how to drive. And he said, "It's all right, it was hot wiring, man."
It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant, man. Was it Hooks?
Hook.
I can't remember who.
Hooks, yeah, Hooks.
Fucking brilliant.
Which one was Hooks then?
Hooks was the girl, wasn't it? With the
Yeah.
voice.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Don't you motherfucker!"
She talking, what you talking about? Oh, that's so funny.
Oh man, I gotta go watch him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Lauren Prince, hey boys, it's my birthday Sunday. Can I get a shout out? Lauren, how are you, lovely? Wonderful, Lauren. We've done many shows with Lauren. How are you, lovely? Happy birthday Sunday. How old are you, Lauren? How old are you?
I'm still laughing at Police Academy, boys.
So good. So good.
To Nipper's birthday today.
Yeah. Is it today?
What time is it now, boys?
I thought it was
23.
we got 1 minute to midnight.
Here we are. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Brilliant.
Some people would have thought we planned that.
This is hilarious. You guys are cracking me up.
No problem, Chris. Hey, Chris, delivered your t-shirt today, buddy. Sorry for the long wait. Appreciate your support. Dispatched today. Oh, that's a good point, actually. everybody that has been waiting on their merch, we had delivery today. There we go. So we got a few more of them in stock. They'll send the Reaper t-shirts, and we also got a few more CrowCast tees. Right. So
I'm having a
if
bit of a mental fucking tap at the minute, boys.
you wanna get your very own t-shirt, you can right now because we've restocked in certain sizes. So crack on.
Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Get Ian Danter on. Come on,
Ah,
dance.
great guest.
Fantastic.
Such a great guest.
Before we go, if everybody can subscribe, hit the notification, like, shut up, mate. Give us a like on Facebook, share it. You know what to do. You don't need to preach it, as Shane done about it. Right. My mission is to fill the screen next time. I'm learning.
So I gotta come honest. I gotta be honest here. This t-shirt here, I haven't bought this, boys. This is just one of the
I
ones.
didn't think you asked.
So this is going back in the kitty. Oh, it's not good, I tell you.
Sorry, they'll buy him.
If someone wants this, a large. Actually, I put my aftershave on, so it probably smell it. Oh, it does. It smells of my aftershave.
It's an extra tenner.
There we are.
There you are. Thanks for posting that today.
No problem, Iona. Thank you so much for support. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, said that one. Sorry. I'll have it. Someone wants your t-shirt, Shane.
Told you. Fucking told you, but told you.
Well, this one is $1 billion.
Hi, karate.
It's Darren. Darren knows. I bought it from you, you twat.
What aftershave? Hi, karate.
Yeah,
There we are. Sold. Jack Skinner.
They
Someone
bought
said
it. They
you-
don't even know how much yet.
Brute.
brute.
Old
No,
Spice.
It's actually diesel. I wear diesel. Petrol.
It's a bit oily, isn't it?
It is a bit. Only the brave. That's what I wear.
Oh.
I don't mind you, boys.
Shane.
Ah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for tonight, boys. I've had a laugh.
Sorry,
Yeah.
fucking me. I have to go in a minute. I'm going to be so wired otherwise.
I've had a laugh. I'm glad we stayed on a little bit longer because that was
Yeah.
so random. So random, but yeah, so it chuckled me, that did. Because like I said,
Yeah.
and it's doing my head in because I can't think of the lieutenant or whatever. Like, do you get what I mean? I can't think of his name because it was too.
Right.
There's
Right.
two.
Okay. We can't go until we find this out.
Okay.
It's,
Two, Shane, if you remember. Not Hughes.
This is the one with the white day.
yeah.
There was two, mate.
Oh.
One was the bastard he was, but he was so funny, and the other one they did the eyebrow thing. Didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah. See, and he ended up having like drawn on eyebrows.
Was he a captain? Captain
Harris.
Harris. Yes.
Well, Pete.
Captain
Well,
Harris.
I
Lieutenant
can't take credit for that. Well, I can actually because I said it first.
He was the little bastard he was using the majority of them, and then there
Who
was
was
the
the guy with the? Who was his sidekick with the little perm that was like really?
oh
Lieutenant
god,
Harris. What was his other name?
Sergeant Harris.
What was his sidekick? Oh man.
Oh, it's gonna do my head in
Proctor!
now.
Proctor! Didn't he show Proctor? Was Proctor, wasn't it? Proctor! He shouted it whenever he went. Proctor! Come in, sir. Or do you just follow him? Was it Proctor? It's Proctor, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well done, Pat. Well done.
Proctor.
Tackleberry.
Yeah. Tackleberry.
And Commandant Mauser. Do you remember Mauser?
Moser.
Mauser.
Yeah. And Commandant Roussard, wasn't it? He was the useless good commandant, but he was rubbish.
That's it. Yeah,
Commandant
Hightower.
Roussard.
Oh, that's amazing. That is. That's amazing. Bringing back all of Harris. Eric Lassard. He had the little goldfish in the bowl, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh man, they were so good.
Ron Perlman was in it. What the fuck? I have to look at him again now. Looking through the cast.
I also remember as a kid, my nan would take me over Tremaine's video station.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she'd always I'd go there every Thursday as a kid while my family went horse riding. So of course, because I'm the youngest. I was a bit young to. I don't think I'd be fucking trusted on a horse now, let alone back then. So she'd always take me over, and I always used to hire fucking citizens on patrol.
Yeah.
That was the one? I used to love that as a kid. I loved it. Which is the one as well when they go underground in the city, and is it they go around in this truck, and the guy he pops his head up in the manhole and disc cuts a hole in the truck, and he's there going like that.
That is 5. I want to say.
I love, and they're all the gangsters in the sewers, and you got this guy behind the screen.
I want to say that's number 5 because it's the reveal. It's a bit of a Scooby Doo reveal.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I love that.
He pulls his nose, doesn't he?
How many were there?
8, I think.
Oh, there's loads. There was
7 or
loads.
8. But to me, 5 was still funny. It got a little bit. It got a little bit thing because they did the whole they did a crossover one as well where they went to Florida or something, didn't they? So they had the Florida branch mixed with the
Was it Miami?
Miami. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, it was Florida. Yeah.
So
Wasn't there a few without Mahoney in her? Or was Mahoney in all of them?
I can't remember, but this was the childhood fucking films for me. But I need to watch them again.
Oh, well done, B. B sent me the full. Excellent cast. Yeah, Proctor. That's so cool. That's so cool. Eric Lassard, Hooker. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look back over them, boys. Definitely. I've been watching a lot of old school films and stuff, so that's something I wonder if that's the problem, isn't it? When you're a kid, they're a little bit naughty,
Yeah. Right, boys, I'm gonna love you and leave you.
Okay,
Yes,
but
as well.
Take care.
So everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday. Big thanks to Mike Exeter for coming on again.
yes.
And tune in to download this weekend. It's the full weekend of the virtual festival. We're on Saturday night. Starts from 7 o'clock our slot. And that's about it, boys. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Go get our merch.
Yeah, go buy our merch. Stay
Cheers,
safe.
guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.